Madness Podcast! The best of the underground! Make madness your ritual! Cause I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. You question me, but I don't mind. I've heard it before. You tested me with all your pride, and now you lose sore. Even though you try, you know that I could take you. Even though you try, you know that I would break you. It's an education for you that I will provide. And when it's over, you can thank me with your cry. Cause I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. How does it feel to see your prize open up her door? If you had kept your mouth shut tight, I'd pity you more. Even though you try, you know that I could take her. Even though you try, you know that I would break her. It's an education for you that I will provide. And when it's over, you can thank me with all of my cries. It's an education for you that I will provide. And when it's over, you'll have seen the darker side. Cause I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I know you've always known that I was born to rise. The fire that I've grown is burning you alive. I know you've always known that someday we'd collide. But now the time has come to break apart your life. I know you've always known that I was born to rise. But brother, you must go. Goodbye. Cause I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. Cause I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life. I'm a trained professional. You'll see it in my eyes. I'll take you down. Original, the basement of your life.
Oh shit, here we go. Hey, what's going down, folks? It is Friday. It's time for a podcast. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it so much. Do me a favor, check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. I actually wanted to say tomorrow is the last day that Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective will be at 3500 Minnehaha Avenue. After 12 years of being in the same spot, they have found a new spot, which is right down the block from where they're at. So do me a favor, give these guys a call. They're going to be open tomorrow all day. Go try to get some tattoo stuff. Help them get a little bit of cash to move forward to the next spot. I know they're going to be opening, I believe, I can't even remember the date he said, but 3500 Minnehaha Avenue, Minneapolis, 612-353-4755, lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Hours 12 to 7, Tuesday through Saturday. Hit Jason up if you're looking to get some tattoo work done here real soon. I know, like I said, tomorrow's the last day at this particular address. They're going to be moving down the street. It's going to take them a little bit to get back up on their feet, but please, we'll keep promoting them and get the new address and everything going as soon as they get it all squared away. Also, stop by, check out the Shred Den, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9100 85th Avenue, North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, 763-350-2191, or theshredden.net. give those guys a shout. They've got a lot of really cool stuff down there. A lot of high-end, heavy stuff. Pointy guitars, beautiful guitars. They've got a bunch of used stuff and stuff on consignment as well. The normal stuff, strings and tuners and chords and all that other happy stuff. And a group of really cool guys that know their shit. So check out the Shred Den, please. Also, Narwhal Design Solutions, Justin Boney's company, does all kinds of artwork, logos, things like that. Tons of stuff for people around here in the music scene. Justin's done album covers and layouts and all kinds of stuff for folks. Give him some love. He's on Facebook, Instagram, all over the World Wide Web. Narwhal Design Solutions. JustinBoney@gmail.com. If you're feeling so inclined to help the podcast out, please consider donating to the podcast. Just scan the QR code on your screen. There's a couple tip amounts available in there. If you feel like supporting the podcast, it would help keep the doors open here, and I really appreciate it. But we're here with the man of the hour, the Tower of Power, the King of... Oh, sorry, I was about to go crazy there. How you doing, Greg? Good to see you, brother. Oh, wait, let me make sure I got you there. Try again.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, my
Hear
man.
yourself good.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, dude.
It is always a pleasure being here to chop it up with you.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time we did a podcast. It was one of the old studios. I know that.
Old studio. I remember one of the first ones, me and you and Jordan.
Yeah.
Doing one of the very first ones.
Yeah. That was like second or third podcast?
Second or third one. Yeah, and then coming back again. I mean, we've done it a few times. It's always great. I love coming in here because, I mean, I grew up with you.
Yeah.
Up in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so crazy, dude. You know what I mean? Like, to think of the years we've been here.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I moved up here in the end of 98.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah.
And basically met Benji right away.
Right.
And then it was just off to the races.
Yeah.
Meeting you guys and so that I think Sublevel was just getting off the rip right then.
Started.
Woof.
Yep.
Like just because I just missed a Chromus. Sublevel was just getting right off the rip.
Yep.
And Head Charge had just changed the name from Flux.
Yeah.
I'd won the
school.
Yeah, I'd won the Clockwise vocalist job.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, we're changing our name.
Yeah.
We can't keep the Clockwise name because we got a new singer. This is a different thing.
Yeah.
So
So was you and Benji that started that thing, or was Benji? It was pretty much the Clockwise guys.
It was. They kicked out their singer,
right?
Because they had just recorded out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it was an image thing.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great voice, but it was an image thing.
Yeah.
They thought that they needed someone that was like just younger and could fit like it was an image thing.
Yeah.
That could sing, right? But that was moldable too. That was another thing. They wanted to go heavier, and I was moldable, right? And so I won the job out of like 10 or 11 guys.
Now we kind of touched on this particular thing when you moved here.
Yep.
And you were saying you weren't even doing metal.
I wasn't doing metal at all. No, I moved up here with a band called Audio Lux, and it was like a fusion of like kind of like the Police meets like Pearl Jam.
Okay.
So
it was kind of grungy, but
yeah, kind of grungy. But I mean, I've always written radio with a hook in mind. Okay, I grew up on radio, and I grew up on grunge.
Yeah.
And I've always had like pop songwriting sensibilities. It's been in my DNA, right?
Now I don't mean to stop.
Yeah.
Is that something from your youth by what you were listening to as a kid?
I mean, I grew up on Chicago pop radio to start, right? But then Def Leppard Hysteria was an album that broke me off, and I loved the layering of the production and Mutt Lange and what he did with that, but then the rock and like the song Women, that just slammed to me as a kid.
Okay.
But I also like the first concert I ever went to when I was a kid with the New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
For whatever reason, and it was just like the combination of infectious hooks.
Yeah.
And dirty grooves has always been something that I've been drawn to.
Right.
So when the band I got moved up here, it broke up in 6 months.
Okay.
And I remember looking at it was an article, it was in the City Pages, looking for vocalist influences Tool and the Deftones.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I'm going to call this. And it was Benji. And so I met Benji and gave him a demo tape, went over and auditioned, and immediately was partying with Patrick Olson.
Yep.
in Benji's basement.
Yeah.
And like I just won the job. And it was a Clockwise job.
Mm-hmm.
And within like a week or two, we're hanging out with Cameron and Chad. And it was just completely wild.
Now, how'd you meet those guys?
Because they were like best friends. Benji got those guys their first shows.
Okay, gotcha.
Here, when those guys got out of treatment, Benji met those guys and when they had just formed the band Flux.
Okay.
And so he knew Emery and he knew Chad. And this is before Wayne, right? Yep. This is back when it was just Chad and Chris Emery. And Chris Emery was playing, and Pete Harmon was playing drums.
Yep.
Chris Emery was on samples.
Yep.
And there was one guitar player, and it was Dave Rogers.
Yep.
Benji assisted them in getting them their first shows with Dodd.
Yep.
Okay. So I come in right at that time. And
perfect time,
right? And Straight Jacket was like the old heads of that. And so Head Charge was opening for, Head Charge would have the second slot.
Yeah.
And then like Dodd and Straight Jacket, right? This is right before We Meet You, I think, right? Is on the timeline, right? So I am just like, what the fuck? And I remember clearly one of the first shows I went to, and a big part of this too was, can you hang?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can hang. I can party.
Right?
That's cool. I'll check that by. Like, are you kidding? I'm like, are you kidding me? Part of this is, can I hang with the radio DJ until 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll be tucking the radio DJ in.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to talk. Okay, I'm like, you kidding me? 19-year-old me. I'm like, buck 40.
Yeah.
Just like wet behind the ears, but ready to
get down.
I'm ready to get down.
Yeah.
Ready to get down and ready to turn into just a devil, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So it was kind of a little much, though.
Yeah.
It was a little bit much.
Yeah.
Because it was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
I watched, I remember seeing when Head Charge opened for Slipknot at First Avenue. I don't know if you remember that show. I'd never seen nothing like it. And for my money, they blew Slipknot off the stage. They did. I left there Slipknot too. And I was hammered, and I'm like, I've seen all I need to see.
Yeah.
I've seen everything I need to see.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. And that's the benchmark right there.
And then Slipknot gets 86th for life from First Avenue, and we missed it. Yeah, we missed it because
they did that night.
Oh yeah, Clown took the fucking keg and threw it off stage. That sidebar that's right there.
No shit.
They had a $5,000 fucking cappuccino machine that the destroyed.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm dead serious. They made him pay for the cappuccino machine. They said, "Yeah, we'll write you a check. We'll catch you later." And they bolted out
for a coffee machine.
Yeah, a big one. It was huge. That's a huge brass machine.
Funny.
I mean, massive.
That is funny.
Yeah.
And we missed it. It's funny that you left there
here's
too.
The funny thing is that the drummer from Necromus shows up, right?
Yeah.
And he hands me a piece of paper, and it says, "Call me," and it says Paul on it. And I said, "Who the fuck is this?" And he goes, "Paul Gray."
Yeah.
And I said, "Where did you see Paul Gray?" And he's like, "He's in that band Slipknot."
Yeah.
I said, "The fucking band that we left?
Yeah.
We didn't even see him." He goes, "I know. He was looking for you all night."
Yeah.
That's, the bass player.
Right.
So I'm like, what the fuck, So I call him. He's like, "Hey, dude, we're out on tour, and they're climbing like rocket ships."
No,
man,
this is right when this is right when they're about to blow.
Yeah.
That was right. But that night though, Head Charge
killed.
Head Charge wiped them.
Yeah.
That's just what happened.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had the same experience.
Oh yeah.
And now looking back, and I would have liked to have seen Slipknot, but I was hammered.
The very first Slipknot show in town too. You know what I mean?
I can't believe we both walked out of it. Honestly, looking back on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe the biggest motherfucking pit I've ever seen in my life. Slipknot stirred up at Excel.
Yeah.
It's just that dude. People can say whatever they want about Slipknot and Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
When that dude is on.
Yeah.
He's one of the best frontmen you'll ever see.
Oh yeah, that band in general.
Yeah,
when they're on,
dude, it's just hit after hit after hit of just over the head with a hammer.
Yeah. That first album too was absolutely amazing.
It's amazing. Ross Robinson as a producer is dirty.
Yeah.
He's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
That first Biscuit record is just filthy.
Didn't he do a couple of them Korn records too?
Yeah, he did the first Korn record. Yeah. You can tell a Ross Robinson record,
Right.
it sounds like you woke up in a dumpster with a bottle of vodka in your hand. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And you just, banged a hooker.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. I love, listen, when you want to feel dirty grooves.
Yeah. I talked to that guy on the phone. That was one of those experiences.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Russ Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
That would be like, that's like a wet dream.
Well, he was doing the second Slipknot album.
Man.
And I think he was like, he fucked his back up. He had a back surgery.
Yeah.
He was in traction, and I was on the phone with him. Him and Monty Connor. I had both of those guys on the phone.
Yeah. Man, that would be, Ross Robinson would be like, that's like, this is really happening. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine working with that
you
dude?
You can imagine having Mutt Lange or, Scott Burns or one of the old school producers and
that's something that would gets the another level out of you.
Yeah.
Out of your music.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, it'd be so awesome.
So I kind of cut you off on that whole deal. So right at that time, you're mingling with all of these people.
Yeah.
You're right in the mix of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, real crazy.
Well, I knew Benji and I knew Clockwise like way before Black Flood.
Yep.
And I partied with Benji and Arm and all of his homeboys like
Arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thrown right in the middle of this, okay? Yeah. And we play one show. It was at Bon Appetit Coffee House.
Yep, I remember.
Okay. And it was we opened the show and then it was Head Charge. No, it was us and then Release.
Okay.
Remember Al Town's band Release with Lance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Us, Release, Head Charge, and Dodd.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the drummer at that time left the band. And so at that point we were like, that might just be it. Okay.
Who was drumming for at that particular?
His name was Dan, I believe his name was, and he played in Clockwise.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm moving to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Where they recorded with what the guy they recorded with, he produced King Crimson back in the day. And so he just wasn't feeling it. Okay. So that's Eric Day is who, Eric.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Eric Day is from the band I moved up here with from Madison.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, and I lived with them. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just grab Eric for Black Flood. He wasn't doing nothing. It ended up working out, okay? And we ended up rehearsing over in our basement for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kept that band together, and because it was going to break up after one show. And it's still
so just Benji playing guitar, right? Because that original singer played guitar and sang at the same time.
I don't know I don't know.
That's the dude from Clockwise.
Okay, yep. So it was just Benji, and we played a couple shows. It was with Dot again. It was a post-Metallica party, 7th Street Entry with Harsh Reality and Numb when they had no Dale.
Yeah.
It was just Joe.
Yeah.
Right? And Chad Hanks is out there, and he's like, okay, this is good. And so that had started to feel good. We started to write. We had just written Open Wide. We wrote the song Nothing Like Me, and we slapped together a demo. Okay? Now it's starting to feel actually like something's happening, right?
Right.
And I think at that point in time, Shannon Brettel became interested in us.
Yeah.
Right around that time, Brian Otteson also was one of Head Charge's techs.
Yeah.
Okay. He also played in A-Pod.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all this little incestuous family.
Dude, I didn't remember he played with A-Pod.
He played with A-Pod with Zilch and Luke Williamson, and who I still talk to both of them, right?
Yep.
So it's all this little incestuous brotherhood type of thing.
Yep.
Right? That I'm just right in the middle of. Well, Black Flood's starting to get now, and I'm writing all the vocals with it, right? I'm starting to realize I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's all just raw, and Benji's kind of molding me. I'm learning, but I'm a sponge at this point. Just a big-time sponge. I'm learning from, and I'm very lucky because I'm learning from Benji, and I'm learning from Cameron. I'm watching Cameron.
Yep.
Right? Indispensable sources of knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just like, and this is a whole new genre of music, right? So, and I'm just going off a raw ability, just being just a frontman.
Yeah.
So, Brian coming in was a big thing. It was a big deal because he just had a natural stage presence.
Yeah.
And it took the power, and then at that point in time, it took the power and we captured the image too, right? The Matrix was out at that time.
Yep.
We capitalized on that with the trench coat and
the barrels and smoke.
The barrels and the smoke, right? And it was a conscious effort with Shannon of being like, listen, you have to package this. You have to make yourself a brand.
We were all on the same field, dude.
Right. Have to make yourself a brand, right? And what's going to differentiate yourself? You're not the heaviest band, okay? You're not the best at what you do yet, but you look good.
Mm-hmm.
And people, you have a magnet. There's a magnet about you. Your songs are catchy. Right? But you need to and you need to make it a show or whatever. And that worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It was.
Do you ever think about employing some of those old tricks that you guys had? Because you had some cool ones, dude.
Yeah.
Like I remember when that happened. I remember seeing you before that happened.
Yeah.
I remember when you walked out on stage with that patent leather trench coat.
Yeah.
I remember that at the Quest. I remember those barrels for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember that shit lighting up and smoking, and just the name. It said Black Flood Diesel.
Yeah.
When you watched it. You know what I mean?
There was something very visceral about those barrels.
Yeah.
There was, with the smoke coming up from them and the lights in them. There just was.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why, like, I really was like stuck on the White Cross's name and keeping the cross, right?
Yeah.
Those frickin' scrims with the red crosses on it.
Yeah.
And I'll go to fucking war with anybody who wants to come at me about the Nazi. I don't care. Listen, I'm not okay, and we're not.
Yeah.
That's our symbol.
Yeah.
I operate under that flag.
Yeah.
And we can go into reasons for that if we want to,
Sure.
but I ain't no Nazi.
Yeah.
I'm no racist,
Right.
period. Okay, so take that shit elsewhere. Maybe you're projecting for some other reasons.
Right.
That's my cross.
Right.
Okay, it's very visceral.
Right.
It's symbology.
Right.
And
are you using that specific cross?
yeah.
Same one?
We're using a big fat Maltese cross. Yeah, big white one, right? But also there's other imagery, with serpents.
Sure.
The Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Have you seen the snake eating itself? So, like, I do want to incorporate that, and I'm a big believer in flags.
Sure.
Okay. Like crests.
Yeah.
That you see in like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I'm a big believer in.
So war banners.
Correct. Yeah, stuff like that. And and then certain lighting, right? Using green a lot, I think, is what. So yes, that some of that stuff will happen. Unfortunately,
you're working it out right now, right?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, we've just been all gas, no brake, just playing catch up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just been a lot of writing. With that project. So we can get to that, but yeah, the short answer is yes. It's a question of how to do it. We got Rockfest in like a month.
Yeah.
And
that's a big deal, dude.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But you know what, Chilton, is I never want to lose sight of, what's the most important thing? Right, banging motherfucking songs.
Right.
And being in shape.
Yeah.
And just being like, here's what we're really gonna do first.
Right.
I'm about to kick your teeth in.
There you go.
And you're gonna have something shoved right down your throat,
right?
And it's gonna look good too.
Right.
And you're gonna have no choice but to have my voice in your head,
right,
over and over while I'm bending you over, right? Like so the lighting can come. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at, Yeah. And that takes some effort. But I think we're pretty close to it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to really.
So it kind of piggybacks on some of the questions that I was writing down here before you got here. Now, so are you putting it down, Black Flood Diesel, for now? I mean, is this a 100% retirement for that particular project? So
I would say I'm gonna say no on that.
Okay,
I'm gonna say no, and it's a retirement with conditions.
Sure,
right. I guess I wanted to put a clear line in the sand that's not who I am.
Right.
I do other stuff.
Yeah,
and there's more depth to it, and then also, like, there's a significant catalog with that band.
Sure.
If someone wants a Diesel show, I'm open to negotiation about that.
Right.
But my time and energy needs to be into producing new music,
Right.
and not focusing on an old catalog.
Right.
And so do my homies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I think that that's evident now that there's like new production coming out.
Right.
I believe, this is my belief system, that the world is better served with the more better new music
Right.
that any artist can put out, right? And I've been doing this my whole life, adult life now. So I think it's incumbent on me as an artist producing for the community to produce the best new music possible in the most volume possible.
Right.
Focusing on what I've done in the past is not productive for anybody.
Right.
Okay. That being said, this is the entertainment business. For a dollar amount, for me to invest my time into going back into the catalog, and we could make a special blast show out of it and maybe bust out some barrels and party it up, right? We could do a whole night of Diesel.
Now, are you still in contact with all those old Diesel members that maybe would be like one of those one-off shows where you could have, previous guitar players? But because I heard, and I wasn't at the last Black Flood show, I apologize, but I know that. I'd heard that Benji came up and done some songs with you and things like that.
Absolutely, Benji. It was awesome. See, and that was awesome. It was kind of like it validated it was the right thing to do.
Right.
He came out and played open wide.
Yep.
We ended just like we started.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm back on good terms with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a very hard place to get to.
Sure.
Okay. For a lot of reasons.
A
lot of years. And that's my brother.
Yeah.
That's like my big brother.
Right.
Okay. And I always, and he knows that, and I know that he will always love me. I mean, some dude, this, you have conflicting relationships with the people that you love the most sometimes.
Yep.
He will always have a spot in my heart.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
Right. And so it just warmed my heart to have that moment, right? So absolutely.
Yeah.
We could absolutely talk about that type of thing, and I want to keep it special like that, right? So yeah, it's possible.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, again, and I have this written down too, it's like, you've been here a long time. That is a legacy.
Yeah.
It's a legacy band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a band that no matter what, there will still be people going, man, you remember those Black Flood shows? You know what I mean? That type of shit. It's the same thing with Sublevel. You know what I mean? Like, those are legacy bands that if they came back to play shows together, if there was a time where we could put those two bands together, people would show up out of the fucking woodwork.
Oh, it would be great. It would be great. And so yes, and I kind of feel like that band, and it was representative of the fact that one of the shows that we played where I lost my shit, and I don't want to feel that. Didn't want to feel that either. I lost my marbles when Full Axl Rose. I mean, it turned into a positive thing, but half of the room leaves because the show goes late.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an asshole, but people start to take it for granted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I realized, I'm like, I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah.
So then you start to think about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I don't try to do something new now, when will I do it? Okay, right. I've got a solo project that I'm doing with Wally, with Wally Joseph, right?
Sure.
That he's my producer with. That's a whole nother thing. That's like this dark, folk fusion with that I got a crew of dudes that are killers that's dudes that want on it. That's a whole nother thing. That's on the lighter side of stuff. That's just pure songwriting. Okay, that.
This is what you're working on right now. You're working.
That's another thing called Oversoul. It's my solo project called Oversoul.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I post acoustic stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And what it is
you've been doing that for years.
I've been doing it for years. Yeah. What I do is I take that and I give it to Wally, and he fleshes it out, kind of like what I would do with Black Flood, like with Trained Professional and Take the Pain, or half of the Chaos Saves, more of it. I would write it in acoustic, give it to my guys, and they would flesh it out. And that's how Trained Professional came out, right? I Take the Pain is the same way. It goes to Kentucky, and then it gets flushed out. Yeah. Well, I'm doing this with Oversoul with Wally, and
totally different person from never worked with anybody, but a certified talented.
Yeah, but now it's the first time I'm working with the singer.
Right,
he can sing his ass off.
Yeah,
and he thinks like me.
Yeah,
with songwriting.
Right.
Okay. It's like we're connected. I mean, we've played some of the best shows in our life with Skyline, and Wally and I are kindred spirits.
Right.
Of songwriting.
Right.
And we respect each other as vocalists, right? But we go about it different ways, totally different ways. And so it's awesome. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And so I realized I'm like Black Flood Diesel's in the way of all of this stuff. Right. It's a lot. What I'm doing right now allows me to take my dark side, which is white crosses, but I have a more positive spin on it.
Yeah.
Black Flood Diesel, I mean, I'll just be honest about it. It was real slutty and dirty, and like I've used that, and I loved every bit of that at the time. You know, there's the side, but that's not what I want in the timeline anymore. Yeah. So but I love metal. So what I need to do is reverse that with energy. Yeah, type of thing.
So so what I'm kind of getting from what you're saying is that you kind of had to put the legacy aside for a little bit, to focus on moving forward with your own growth.
Correct. In a positive way. It felt like dude, you're more than that. Yeah. Type of thing in a spiritual sense. Yeah. Right. So, but that being said, I mean, you know. I would. It's never going to be what I do again, and it kind of drives. And now I understand why, but I understand why it's hard for bands to put things to bed too, because it becomes your identity. I don't know. Let me ask you this: what do you think about? Do you see the Pantera ad campaign? For their show,
the next tour, tour that's going.
Yeah, do you see what they're dressed up like?
No,
you didn't see nothing like that. So they're in like suits. Okay,
like Dressed to Kill.
Like you know how Metallica dressed like the Load album. Yeah, like it's kind of like that. It's weird.
So the Pantera.
It's bizarre, bro. I'm just saying. So I'm just picking your brain. Like, don't you think that's a little weird? They look like they're dressed up. This is what I'm saying. Check it out. And it reminds me exactly like when Metallica dressed up for the Load promo. It's not Pantera.
No, you're missing it though. So this was actually.
Am I missing something here?
I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay. I saw it and I'm like, are these guys trying to be like? Are they going out to a steak dinner?
No, this is what they're trying to achieve.
What, okay,
and I'll show it to the fans here, so they can see it as well. Yeah. So this is what we just saw. What I looked up first was this Pantera one, and this is why I said this, and this is where I knew where they were going with it. Yeah. Because I did see this picture. Now, if the fans can see this, they're standing on like a corner in New York. There's like this is their deal. This is where it came from. Is this right? Okay, maybe not. God damn it. Go back to. Sorry, folks. I'm fucking fumbling. It's the Kiss Dressed to Kill album.
Okay.
See how he's got a gray shirt?
Okay, so that's okay.
That's the.
I'm not a Kiss fan, so that's over my head.
Yeah.
So I thought I was like, are these guys trying to be like mob bosses? Yeah. What is going on here? And then of course, then I've been on a Pantera kick lately. Yeah. They're one of my favorite bands ever. Yeah. Right? Phil Anselmo's a maniac. Whatever. Then I'm like, I'm looking at Cowboys from Hell. Yeah. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? No, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So there is a method to the madness.
And they're huge Kiss fans. All of them are huge Kiss fans.
Okay. Now that I did not know any of this. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Yeah. It makes me feel better. Instead of them trying to be.
I saw it. And now when you said that they were in suits, I was like, oh, wait, I did see that. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, that's what they were trying to do.
Okay.
The Kiss Dressed to Kill, album. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now. Thank you. Now it makes me feel better about them. Yeah. Because I was starting to be like, they ain't losing their minds now, are they? Like they're
not. A little late in the game to lose your fucking mind. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Don't. We already been through this, okay? Right. It wasn't cool. Right. We already been through this. It was not cool, and they put on makeup and cut and put on suits. Right. Like if they're already pushing their luck with Load and Reload. Right. They're pushing their luck. And there are some bangers on those. For the record, I listen to King Nothing sometimes. Yeah. Okay? I do.
When you're cold King Muffins.
Edit all questions down. I do. I listen to it, man. Bleeding Me. Well, I tell you what, I shoot hoops in the morning, right? Yeah. And before workout, Eric Kai is my personal trainer. Shout out to the Reaping Asmodea guys on tour right now. But I will listen to if I'm
Lock and Key Fitness.
Yeah, Lock and Key Fitness. If I'm trying to get spiritual sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Bleeding Me.
Yeah.
It's about 8,000 minutes long. Okay?
Right.
You will get in touch with something. You listen to Bleeding Me.
Yeah.
It can annoy you sometimes too.
Yeah.
Hold on the wheel, Cole. I take the leash.
That's just a road I didn't go down, dude. It's just something that I couldn't do.
I mean, like I said,
I've heard some of them songs, but at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to go that far in.
It's if you here's another one. Get cooked and listen to the symphony one, the Metallica symphony one. It's pretty good, man. And no, it's a whole nother way of looking at the life.
I can't get that.
No, I know. There's not enough weed to smoke.
Well, I mean, if you drink a 50 milligram fucking drink or something,
right,
you know what I mean?
Right. No, I do know what you mean.
That's a Jordan special right there. That motherfucker says, "Yeah, dude, we got these 50s laying around here." I'm like, "You drank a 50s?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." I go, "What else did you do?" "Nothing. Lay on the couch." You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I
I always like to joke around. I'm like, one of the best things that ever happened in music was that fateful moment when Metallica kicked out Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we'd have no Megadeth. We'd have no Dave Mustaine's attitude.
Right.
Okay. That's one of the best things that ever happened in music.
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine's jaded attitude towards that situation.
Dude, did you watch that Sean Ryan?
Yes.
Interview? Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched a chunk of it.
Did you get to the Metallica stuff?
I saw the one part where he's like, pretty similar about the one.
Oh, he's talking about Excel.
Yeah. No, but it sounds like I need to.
Now here, I'll summarize real quick. You have to go watch it.
Now, I love
for anybody who
I love it.
For anybody who has not watched that interview with Sean Ryan.
Yeah.
So you always want to hear the full side of it,
Absolutely.
Right? Because they've been kind of pussyfooting around it for years. It's like, what actually happened? Well, he was a drunk, but they were all drinking. They were all fucked up.
Right.
They were going to kick Lars out. I had heard that story years before that they wanted to get rid of Lars, not the other way around. Right. They got rid of McGovney, the bass player. They got Cliff. Right.
Right.
So
they're just all drunks.
Right.
They're all power-hungry drunks.
That's what it was. And he was. That's funny is because Dave Mustaine talks about him selling dope at the time, and he was, he lived on his own. His parents, took off on him and shit.
Right.
He's living on his own. He lived with his dad a little bit, this kind of thing. But he skips around. Like Sean Ryan purposely leaves out Metallica for a good chunk of it. And you're like, oh, okay, they're just going to go over it. It's been hashed over. It's probably something they're not going to talk about. Then he goes back to it. And then Dave lays in deep.
Really?
And he tells you every song that he wrote, every piece, everything. And he also tells you, I collect money off of them bitches, so please go get that money. Go listen to those songs because he collects dividends off that shit.
Oh, okay, really?
So he tells all of the shit.
Yeah.
And that's why he brought up the fact that listen to this song, listen to Excel. They do sound exactly alike. They really, really do.
I mean, the Sandman... that he refers to, it's a copy.
Yeah,
it's a copy of
is.
it. And then you could say,
well,
the rest of the song doesn't sound similar.
No.
Okay, now it doesn't. But here's kind of the question that I beg people.
Right.
How the fuck, if you know that it's that similar, do you press on with that part? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're Metallica. Or unless you just don't know. But it's almost exactly alike.
Well, here's the thing, though. And this is what, if you go back and look some of that up, because that's what I had to do. I had to look that shit up because I'm a huge Excel fan. Those first two albums are amazing.
Yeah.
Skate punk.
That's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
That's out of my wheelhouse.
That's the thing. But they were in the Bay Area at the same time when they were coming up. They were signed to Suicidal Records, which was...
So Metallica could totally bite off of them because they're in the same area.
They're here, and they've all.
Right.
This is the Black Album. They've already. They're here, so they could go back and now here's the thing that I question sometimes.
Yeah,
and it goes back to Led Zeppelin. It goes back to the blues shit. Okay, 12-bar blues.
Yeah,
it's a black music. It was from the fucking plantations.
Yeah,
black folks wrote. And
Led Zeppelin ripped off everyone.
All of that.
Yeah.
Because they recorded all of that blues stuff from the Delta blues, and they put it on these catalogs.
Yeah.
Europeans got it. They started eating up all of our blues over here. They'd fly those people that had no love in the United States. They'd fly them over there, and they were fucking huge.
Right.
Huge. Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters,
Right,
fucking
right.
Sun House. All of those motherfuckers were huge. Now, if you listen to it now, there's a documentary on Led Zeppelin on Netflix. Now, if you listen to that and you listen to old Black Sabbath shit, they were all blues players.
Right.
Cream, fucking Eric Clapton.
The blues is what's up.
All
yeah.
of them. All of them were all blues guys. But what you hear in some of that music is a synergistic fucking flow. It's a flow state of writing. Now, if you're a guitar player and you're coming up with riffs and you're fucking getting high and you're drinking and you're getting fucked up, that synergy is going to run together eventually.
Right.
You are going to come into those same type of riffs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because it's all patterns.
Now, if you think about comedians will call out other comedians. Hey, dude, I did this joke back then, and they show this joke 20 years before or 5 years before, and then a guy like, Carlos Mencia,
Right.
grabs a hold of it. Robin Williams was known for it, taking people's
Right.
jokes, but he would actually pay the comedians. If they said, hey, you stole my joke, he'd go, here's a fucking $75 check. Go fuck yourself. You got paid for a joke nobody will ever see because you're still having a comedy club.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Right.
In my opinion, when I look back at that shit, because Excel was so underground, and it was right around the suicidal tendencies. No Mercy. I'm the master of no mercy. That was all suicidal record shit. That was old.
Right.
But they were all in the Bay Area. They were all playing shows together.
Right.
So I'm sure that there was some.
I guess it's a fine line. I guess you're walking and things move pretty fast.
Yeah.
People do some messed up things when there's fame on the line.
Well, I think we said it in the very beginning of the podcast. Is that we've been in long enough to know how dirty and filthy.
It's filthy.
Yeah.
No, it's filthy. And so I think we're in agreement on that. Is that they ripped them off.
Yeah.
They ripped them off.
Yeah.
There's no innocence in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. There isn't. I mean, the bottom line is this: someone will stab you in the back if that means they could step up on you for the next rung of the ladder. That's how this works. So you got to be a prick, or let people know that they're going to get messed up if they screw around.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, because that type of stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Or it's like, one of my things lately is do what other people But I like working on my vocal register, my low end now, and doing things that I know other people just can't.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, then they can't rip you off, right?
I agree.
Come up with the sound that just is yours. Then it's like when they hear you, it's you.
There's only one other singer that I think is anywhere near your vocal range or your style at all, and that's Jake. That's it.
Yeah, Jake. I've heard that. And you know what? When I listened to him, he revamped this whole band. They played this festival with us.
Yeah.
They sounded awesome.
Yeah.
And I was listening to him, and I'm like, you know what? Because I've heard that from several people. Like, Doc sounds like you, and I'm like, really? I'm like, but I listened last week. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, you got the same low end, the low end range.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's a trip, man. That is kind of a trip.
But that's the only other vocalist in this town that I've ever heard even remotely close.
It's I kind of, for a while, I was like, I fought it for a while.
Yeah.
Because it's non-traditional.
Sure.
Everybody usually wants to hear the high.
Yeah.
And stretching for the high note.
Which is painful to us because we're, especially if you're in the mid going high and back and forth the whole time.
Totally. And so I kind of was like, I struggled with that for a long time. And on some of the early Diesel demo, like Fountain of Youth, oh man, that note is way too high. And I hit it, and it was back at Orphan Records. There's no auto tune. It was all on 2-inch tape. No auto. You had to hit everything. And it took an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours just for that one note. And we went, but it was like,
what were you drinking?
It was a big. At the time, we went right to the bar afterwards and got hit.
What were you drinking? What was your ritual in that time? Were you
it was like tea and honey,
okay.
and and it was like tea and honey, and I wouldn't eat at a certain point. I mean, it was all in my head.
But you didn't smoke cigarettes back then, did you?
I did smoke, but I would like not only smoke like I would like smoke a cigarette and then I wouldn't smoke for like 2 hours, type of thing. Yeah. Or I would not smoke for a day, and then that would give me like a charge.
Sure.
If you
like it cleared you out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. You'd heal.
Yeah.
A little bit. So I had to have it even though it was just a bonus on top of charred lungs,
right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was all like this dumb shit.
Yeah.
Because I was young, right? But when I hit that note, we went right to the bar, and Shannon, because Shannon was in the booth, she's like, yes. But, I mean, that note is just so high.
Yeah.
And it took approximately 6 months to a year before I couldn't hit that note.
Yeah.
I mean, and I won't listen to those old live tapes. I will not listen to them because that I'm so hard on myself. I don't like hitting bad notes. I hate it. I hate it. I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. I hate it. Like what I do live I have to be able to do it in the booth.
Well, dude, you're segueing into some of these last ones that I actually wanted to ask because it's something that as a vocalist I've always kind of struggled with, and I never thought about warming up.
Yeah.
I never even, you know what I mean? And I was doing the hardest of just trying to gurgle as much as I could. I never was bort, but I was always, the only thing that I could say that I tried to do a bit more, which I think trying to be that more gurgly style or more death style, I tried to enunciate more.
Yeah.
Okay, and that helped me be a little bit different than the traditional death guys. Right?
Big deal.
But what are some now? How did you? Obviously, you find your voice. You can sing. You start hitting those notes. You're doing your thing. You're working out. You're in this band. You move here. Now you're in Black Flood. You're building Black Flood. It's becoming a thing. You're trying to find your voice. My question is, strength in your vocals. Like, where did you get your strength from? What helped you build that strength in being able to project?
So I think the big thing is that I've just had a God-given loud voice, in general.
Yeah.
So there's that. I have a natural sense of pitch that I realized at a young age.
Yeah.
That just, I've never had a problem staying in key.
Yeah.
Right? Which was, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, some dudes just couldn't hit a note if they fell out of a boat.
Right.
And that's not talking shit. It's just the way that it is, right? You can be a great frontman, but some guys just can't hit a note.
Right.
Okay. I've never had that problem. So that combined with the power, I wasn't a natural metal vocalist, but it didn't take long to kind of figure it out.
So you always had a
projection.
Okay.
A projection.
Gotcha.
Metal's a whole different animal.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole different thing. The techniques and all that, all of it. And I mean, I got my lunch fed to me for a minute. I mean, for a hot second, right? And it wasn't until it was the Motorgrader tour when we went out and toured the Motorgrader with Ivan, and I came back from that tour, man. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And Karma Chima, I can thank him for that. I mean, he was hard on me.
Yeah.
Hard on me. But
meaning how? What would
he was like? You're gonna get your shit pushed in by a 13-year-old kid because we were on tour with Slytherin.
Yeah.
He's like, you're a bitch if you don't toughen up with your voice. He's like, you're going out there with grown men and you sound like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't fucking talk to me that way.
Right.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, what do you think you are?
Right.
He's like, you can do this, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was hard to hear, but he was right. He was right. And so
painful truth.
I was like, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. And so I went out on that tour, and lo and behold, by the end of the tour, my voice was holding up, and, other guys weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I had done it.
Well, what were you doing? I mean, were you drinking every night? I mean, obviously there's partying going on.
You know what? Well, yeah. I mean, it was being more reserved.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I would drink sometimes, but what it was it was all mental. I had realized it was all mental, and it was. I refuse to lose. I'm not going to lose.
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me? I'm not going to lose. And this isn't a game anymore.
Right.
This is time to go and treat this like a war.
Right.
Okay. And once that switch flipped, it was a very easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it was, okay, I'm not going to put up with any bullshit back at home either.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do this. I'm done getting pushed around.
Right.
Okay. And a whole light bulb turned on.
Sure.
I don't have to deal with nobody's shit.
Right.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm very thankful for him for that, because it instilled a lot of, belief. And now the ironic thing about it is that, it made, I had a long time where I didn't talk to those guys.
Yeah.
Because I stood up for myself.
Yeah.
In ways. Right. That's part of the story with that.
Yeah.
But it was a very tenuous time.
Yeah.
But with the voice, it's all been about the diaphragm.
Yep.
And making sure that you control your breath is what I realized.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to sponge off of, I don't know, metal's a whole nother thing. It's just wild. I've taught myself how to chant, like Viking chant, the Celtic, that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's how I base everything around now.
Right.
It's almost like turning.
Because you get the register.
Yeah, totally. And so what that does is it almost like you can turn your insides into a stomp box.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you're not thrashing your vocal cords, whereas when I was younger, I didn't know how to do that stuff.
That's where you were channeling from. You weren't getting the diaphragm.
Right. I wouldn't get the diaphragm. And so that's why when I was younger, I was stretching for the notes.
Yeah.
I was still thinking with my throat.
Yep.
Now it's all
Linda Lovelace style, thinking with my throat.
right.
It's the only way I can get off, baby.
Yeah. So
let me back up a little bit though, because this is something that I find amazing. Very, very similar in this. Now, do you think it was your sports as a young guy?
Yeah.
Being and if you played basketball, that means you were playing against brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially
in Chicago.
Illinois.
In Chicago.
Illinois.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're playing against.
Yep. Oh
and they are another level of basketball players.
Oh yeah. It was. I grew up in. I mean, I was in the suburbs of Chicago, but I mean, we played Chicago public league schools and Zion. I mean, it was the homies. And they will tell you.
But you were not a shitty player. You were you had trophies.
That was good. Yeah. That was my junior year of high school was the state 3-point champion, like having the NBA. It was in Illinois. I won the state title.
So that fucking winning mentality was already in you.
Oh yeah.
Karma just kicked it in high speed.
Correct. It was like okay, and it's like you're not okay. I do really good work when I'm backed into a corner too.
I'm toxic.
Yeah,
I'm incredibly toxic. I have. This is why I think with the sublevel thing.
Yeah.
When I went back into Chromas, okay.
Yeah.
We did our thing and we recorded an album and whatnot, and I think that because I went back to friends that I'd known since I was young, I didn't have anything to like say fuck you. This is my, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't as aggressive as I was in sublevel.
Right.
As trying to get somewhere. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And even with Outside the Murder, what I did was I stopped being the band dad. I wasn't the guy handling all the business anymore.
Right.
Because I was like, you know what? When Derek Abrams came back and jammed with me, and he said something to me after he had played with you guys. He said, "I've always heard that you were one of the hardest people to work with." That's what he told me.
Really?
And I was like, "What?" So I really took that to heart, like a really bad.
That's what Derek said?
Yeah, he said that.
Really?
He had heard that through other people that had worked with me.
Musically?
Before. Yeah, musically, that I was really hard to work with. And so I was like, it blew me away. So my thing was, I felt like I became, when I got into that, like I'd always used it at shows. So if I was watching a guy play, one of my friends, I always wanted my friends' bands to do great. You know what I mean? I wanted them to kill it.
Right.
But I was not going to be the guy that you upstaged.
Well, right. It's a healthy competition.
Right.
Is what it is.
Right.
You know.
But I felt like my sports aggression was so toxic that I started to alienate people and be like, I took the little bit of fame that we got at that particular time, and I let it go to my head.
Sure.
And then I was like, this is way too much for me. I can't deal with this shit.
It can get that. There's a real fine line. It can definitely cross into that. I've done the same thing for sure. I struggle with that whole concept because I find that if you take away some of that edge, then things are just too boring.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that we could use a little healthy dose of healthy competition around here.
I agree with
Again, you know what I mean? Like, let's create a little bit of an arena.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell else do we have to do?
Right.
I guess. And are we hurting anybody? Like, if we look back on the day with us, did any of us really hurt any of our? No. Nobody hurt anybody.
No.
Nobody. I mean, and
we thrived like
yeah,
the
dude.
motherfuckers back
Listen,
then.
and listen, we're all grown men, right?
Right.
Let's not let's just. I think we're all going to be okay.
Yeah. We didn't die.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
We're not, and I think it's high time. Maybe not everybody's so sensitive, but that's just another thing. Like, let's make some metal.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I have the core thing for me is I have a belief in so many artists here. This is not me blowing smoke.
Right.
I do, but let's push each other's buttons a little bit, man. Then what's the problem with that? You know, I always kind of liked that because, like you're saying, now you're not gonna be upstage,
right.
Okay? Like if the guys in 2-ton crutch are pulling their, I'm just using an example, right? They're up to their things that I got to keep up with,
yeah.
and it's hot, getting me hot under the collar. Well, and that's gonna make me write a better song. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Do other normal human beings think we're ridiculous for behaving this way? Probably, but we're writing great music that they're coming out to see.
I never allowed the guys to like go out and shit on anybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to talk shit inside the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could talk all the shit you wanted inside the studio, but
sure.
you better show up.
Right.
Because if we play that show,
right.
and they upstage us and some,
right.
you broke a string, but you didn't have a backup guitar,
right, right, exactly, because they're talking the same thing, and then but you get along. Yeah. There's a line you don't cross, yeah. Whatever. But there's all the periphery stuff going on with the groupies, and then the guys who want to hang out because there's girls. I mean, it's all, but that's good for business. Yeah. It's good for the bars.
We actually experienced something that a lot of these younger cats haven't and won't probably. Yeah. We had guys like Patrick. We had guys like Nick Davis. We had people, Earl Root. We had all these people that like believed in this music scene and like would give us love.
Yeah.
And now the radio station won't even fucking touch it.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. Oh man. Nick Davis sold me my car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. So, and I'm just like, bro.
Still looking out for motherfuckers this many years later.
Totally.
I mean, when I think about it, too, like Patrick and I had a love-hate relationship at times.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because of women, because of
right,
stupid
right,
shit,
right.
But I always had a soft spot for the guy. I always liked him, and it wasn't about what he could do for me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think a lot of those people understood that about me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't give a fuck what you did for me, as long as we could get smashed together, or bang the same chick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like just stupid.
You got
shit.
Wendy and Chas. Wendy and Chas. I mean, it was like one big, they took care of us.
Yeah,
and that's not like. Some of those shows we played, like you guys win the Battle of Bands, we win the Battle of Bands, and those shows that we played, that though they put us on list, that ain't no joke.
Yeah,
we
got the call. That's the thing is, like if you look back, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but like when Fred Durst got in control of Interscope, right?
Yeah.
He went around and he called all the radio stations and wanted to know who your biggest bands were in town.
Yeah.
Because he was looking for people to sign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Guys like us got the call.
Right.
We got called. Like, hey, dude, you need to go do this. You need to meet with these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's some cool shit. That was really cool.
It's wild.
I think that if you or I would have got signed and put on tour for long periods of times, I'm not sure if we would have made it out of it.
No, I don't. And I honestly,
I laugh, but it's true.
I have turned into a very spiritual man. Yeah. Right. I'm a believer in the guy upstairs. Yeah. And I do like to think that the reason that I didn't get what I wanted, or maybe wasn't as good, had the best opportunities of my life when I wasn't as cultivated talently, is because someone was looking out for me, because I would have ended up dead. Right. I mean, flat out, I would have been beefy. I mean, that's just all there is to it. There was
sitting with Chad and having that conversation about that situation too. Like he's like, I don't think he remembered that he took his medication. You know what I mean? He's like, we got to town, we were trying to make bar close. Yep. We were like, it was right at the end of the night. We were trying to get there, and he's like,
whatever happened, here's all that I'll say about that. Whatever happened there, it wasn't of natural causes, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard life. It's living a hard life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anybody will ever know exactly what happened with that.
Yeah.
On the record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's fine. But you're exactly right. If it would have been you or me back in the day, we both have partied together. We both know our tendencies when we were young bucks.
Yeah.
Given that type of thing. back when they were like, you know,
pocketfuls of shit.
Blue Dolphins going around and the Mercedes, and I mean, Girls Gone Wild,
double stacks, dude.
Double stacks. Yeah, man, forget about it, dude. I mean, forget about it.
Shane and I had like 1,500 pills.
Oh,
at that time.
Yeah,
ridiculous amounts of shit.
Calgon, take me away. I mean, if there's a time machine, I hate to say it, but take me back to that moment. Okay, I'm not trying to go, you know, to see the Kennedy assassination. I'm trying to get back to that apartment right there with you guys.
Right.
I'm not even kidding either. Okay, I'm not even kidding because those were some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
we see some shit, man,
bro. That was when, wow.
Life was easy, dude, back then. I mean, it seemed like it to me, anyways. You know what I mean?
No, it was really easy, and how, I mean, how we got away with that. Okay, I mean, let's just remark about that for a second. I look up and I'm like, how did I get away with that with just a couple scratches? That's another thing. Like, something's looking out for us, man. Okay, because that's not normal. That ain't normal. You're not supposed to be able to do those things and not end up in federal prison or right, or half retarded. Like, it's not supposed, you know, because of some medical incident.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just being real about it, you know?
I can't fucking
I'm not trying to be derogatory or anything, but I'm just
with you.
Yeah.
It's just, it was a crazy time back then, dude, for sure. Let's take a listen to another tune. We got another one lined up here. I believe this is Open Wide, correct?
Yeah.
Going old school with that shit.
Old school, yeah. So, you know, at these White Crosses shows, you might.
I want to take you back to like the studio writing this tune. Like,
Open Wide, yeah.
Now, you touched on it a few times in the interview so far, and in past interviews, you know, like. The writing and the hooks, and that pop thing that you came from, dude. Like I never had that. I never tried to do that. You know, the radio thing. I never really tried. And the one time that I did with Outside the Murder was like everybody loved that tune because it just fit the mold with everything. Now you guys have done that from the very beginning. With the Open Wide. Like, how did that come to be? Where the fuck were you in your head at that particular point?
You know, it's real weird with writing. And I don't know if you experienced this, but it's always been this way for me. And because this song was written, I think maybe when I was 19 years old. Okay. But it's always been with me that it seems to come from a different place, like with lyrics, and I'll write, you know, poetry or whatever, and just anything, right? Sometimes even when I go off on tangents, it's not coming from me. It seems to be channeled from a different place or a different source, right? And so Benji had written a riff that didn't, and they were messing around with it, right? And the lyrics and the hook just kind of came out from somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I call it channeling writing.
Yeah.
Almost like it was already there, or there was something else attached to you that's writing it for you, right? The pen just kind of writes itself,
right? Now, did you do it in the studio with them playing, or did you have the stuff? Now, back then we didn't record.
It was in our basement. It was just in a.
Did you record it?
We just recorded it like on a boombox, I think,
okay.
And then we recorded it. When we recorded it initially, it was on our first demo at April 40.
Now, when you recorded it on the boombox, did you take it home? Was that part of the catalyst to kind of get the riffs in your head, like because I know when you're grabbing from the ether, when you're pulling it. A lot of times it's just those, especially when you're learning the craft and when you're you know, obviously you're writing the poetry. The lyrical content is there. You're able to structure. Right. But when those riffs come in and those beats come in and you're really feeling it, you know what I mean? Especially because you and I have talked several times about music. music, we said this before we even came on, like music was such a huge thing to us as children. You know what I'm saying? Huge thing.
Yep.
Like way more than it, and you even said it, like guys these days, kids these days, they do not listen to music like we did.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't. And so, it was, I know it was a big band that was referenced at the time, that Benji would always reference at the time, was Filter for some reason.
Okay.
Richard Patrick and Filter, and how he used his scream. He's like, that's $1 million scream. He kept talking about Filter and like the Hey Man, nice shot. Okay. Yeah. So I would reference, I remember thinking, keep it simple, keep it, but that's the riff. That's what we're going to use as the chorus, is that da-da-da-da-da. Keep it simple. Okay. There ain't no room to sing over it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of have it half hip hop, half whatever. We'll weave in a little melody in there, but we're going to do something that people, just a saying that people know, right? And
callback.
We're gonna make a chant. We're gonna make it. I'm big on chants.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was kind of the evolution of it. Right. Yeah. Is open wide. It had nothing to do with the lyrics. Right. The lyrics are effectively some entity, some being's evolution coming from underground to like effectively cast judgment on Earth. Right. Is what came out. Right. Sure. You don't know who I am, but you're going to see. I've been inside you the whole time. It's kind of the premise. It's like a demonic, either it's a demonic or a whatever type of figure, right? That isn't here to help, right? But the open wide part of it, totally separate from that, and you can interpret it in however, right? I like to look at it as the Earth opening type of thing, right?
Yeah. Portal,
right? Yeah. And then. I always thought a fun video of it would be maybe like, starting at the dentist's office with like some hot chick coming in, open wide with the drill, and then snap into it. So, but that was it. Yeah, it was just written in the basement of Weeks Avenue. We lived over on Weeks Avenue in campus, and
sick.
Yeah, recorded on a demo.
Nice fucking. Yeah. That was a nice storytelling.
And we still play it. It's the closer of every show we've ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, man. And then it still thumps. People still chant with it in the end. So it's wild. It's been going on almost 30 years now playing that thing.
Nice, man. Well, let's take a listen, folks. Take a listen. Chant in your house while you're listening to this. Thrash around if you got headphones on. Make people go, what the fuck is he doing over there? Open wide, motherfuckers.
Open wide! Open wide! Open wide! Open wide! So peel back your mind, like short sail. could never help you. I 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 so open so feel that you're mine. Now open wide. Now open wide. Now open wide.
Fucking A, dude. Open fucking wide already, will ya?
Open up.
Dude, that it is a classic tune. I've even fucking joined you on that tune.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's the key. Dude, I always love that shit.
Yes.
I remember the first day that you actually asked me to do that.
Yeah, man.
I was very humbled and very surprised.
We should do we get a proper one.
Like,
You know.
I told Chewy, since I see Chewy every day, I go, so you guys are doing Rockfest now this year? He goes, yeah. I go, tell Greg I want to sing backups on something just so I can experience it one time. He goes, I'll tell him, but I don't think that'll happen. You know what I mean? It's just kind of funny.
Listen, I am all about for open wide is the perfect because it's got like it's kind of like I mean it's obviously it double up on the chorus is easy, but the call and response on the verse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ready made for a.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the easiest guest spot appearance.
Yeah.
For a dude to come in and just slam it.
Yeah.
It's the last tune. You come in, you do a little spoken word call and response. You don't even need to know the
Did
words.
we do that at Fine Line, or did we? I know we did it at the Quest one time.
Yeah, I think we did it at the Quest a long time ago. It would be fun to do it again.
I can't even think of where we were. I know we did it at least.
I think the Quest one time a long time ago.
Yeah. I could have swore it was somewhere else, either the Fine Line or like maybe the Rock even.
The Rock, yeah. You know what? That sounds really familiar.
I'm not positive, dude. But
The Rock, maybe when we played a show when Nick from 93X hosted it.
that could be it.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, that the Rock for some reason the Rock sounds familiar when it was.
I remember the Quest one for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Back when it was popping off.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a fun tune to do. Like, you don't. I mean, really, the guy doesn't even need to know the lyrics because it's a call and response.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious to me that I find super funny is that Cameron wore goggles, I wore goggles, you wore goggles, right? And it was like different timing of it and like different styles. And like you wear a set of goggles and mine were very similar. You were wearing a set, you know what I mean? It's like we would mimic each other in different spots of time. And it was all in like a 5-year time frame. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild time. And then I remember I had those dreadlocks.
Yeah.
That was a good one for a minute, but then something didn't seem right with them, right? And I remember the chick I was dating, right? And she's like, it was conflicting to shave those things off, right? Because they can become a part of who you are.
Yeah. Well, at that time too. That was
it was
a time frame.
It was a time frame, right? It was a time frame. And I shaved them off, bro. She helped me shave them off, and there's a couple bugs that just came out in her sink, dude. I mean, it was disgusting. I mean, it was so bad. And I look back on that, and I'm like, I didn't have a conscience. I walked around, dude. This is a true story. I walked around because I would get so fucked up. I would fall over and crack my head on things.
Yeah.
Well, I got staples in my head one night at some hospital. Okay. I walked around. This is how out of control things. I walked around for like 2 years with the staple in my head with the dreadlocks, and just didn't get it taken out.
Really?
Oh, I just didn't care.
Did it grow over?
It just grew into my skull until one point in time. It got so uncomfortable because it started getting kind of infected in there.
Yeah.
Like I had to go in, and they're like, "Mr. Moog, how long have you had this staple in your head?" I go, "A couple of years." It's just finally got a couple. They go, 2 years. I go, I just don't really care about that much. I don't think.
They pull out one of those fucking.
They go. This is gonna hurt. I'm like, can you Novocaine it so they stick a needle in the head and they gotta clip it out. I mean, it was gross. I mean, it's gross. That was that was how.
Yeah.
That was the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Of just filthy.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. That's how I moved into the Cameron. I was homeless and I was living in my girlfriend kicked me out on Christmas. I was homeless on Christmas.
Damn.
She kicked me. Yeah, that's cold. That is cold. She's like, now you know what it feels like. Because I got drunk. Oh, it's the stupidest shit. You want to hear this story?
Yes.
Okay. We were out on a tour with Motigrator and she got upset because I told her there were no women on the tour and there weren't. Okay.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
There weren't any women on the tour. She got upset because Benji's girlfriend, Caroline, that we all know and love, that you lived with.
Yep.
Caroline went to the show in Iowa. I don't count her as a woman on the tour. It's Benji's girlfriend. Well, my girlfriend at the time now classifies me as a liar. A lying ass, right? I'm like, what? So now I proceed to get hammered with Karma and Benji. Now, I'm going to show you. Well, that erupts into a fight, okay? To where, she had bought me, I was a big St. Louis Rams fan at the time. She had bought me a St. Louis Rams coat. Well, I take this off and throw it right back in her face.
Right.
Okay? And she goes, she's like, you threw that present that I got for you right back in my face? That's assault. And I'm like, that ain't assault. I'm like, you're a bitch.
I'll take my jacket off.
Yeah, I'm taking my. I go. I don't need your shit, right? I'm throwing my coat on you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a symbolic gesture of me telling you I don't need nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm not laying my hands on you. I'm telling you how it is.
Yeah, I was just putting a blanket.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I love the St. Louis Rams so much, but I hate you this much. I'm going to throw their coat right back at you.
Right.
And she goes. Well, guess what? Now you know what it's like to be homeless on Christmas. Slams the door right in my grill. Chima.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're going back to the bar. And back to the bar I go on Christmas, okay? I think I ended up at some trailer park smoking dope, okay? Like that night. And then I ended up sleeping in our rehearsal space. We were in the basement of the sound gallery.
Yeah.
And Cameron came in, and so I'm all just cracked out, okay? Cameron comes in, middle of the night. This where you're living? I'm like, yeah, right now. Just got kicked out of my girlfriend's place. She's like, you can come stay with me, dude.
Yeah.
You want? I got a house over here. I'm like, I got a job because I still am working somehow through all this time with a staple in my head or whatever, and dreadlocks, okay, bugs in my hair, right? Smoking dope, okay, smoking pipes, but I was still holding down a collection job somehow. Like I don't know how this is happening. He's like, yeah, just come in. So that was the start of me living at the Head Charge House.
So let me ask you this, though. Like, how did the dope come for you? Like, how was it? Like when you moved to town, you obviously weren't hitting the shit.
I wasn't hitting it. No, it was blow.
Yeah,
that was like. Greg meat cocaine. I knew you my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that right away.
Yeah.
But that was like alcohol, cocaine, cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay, like
staple.
I was like a walking Oasis song.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cigarettes and alcohol, and put me as Liam Gallagher at the time.
Yeah.
It's exactly
fighting with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, or whatever, and kind of a prick, and whatever, and getting all messed up like that's. And I was fine with that. Right. Well, one night, at one or several nights, oh, dude, this is way better. Just try that. Okay. Because me, Liam Gallagher will do any drug in front of his face.
Yep.
That's who I fancied myself to be.
Sure.
And not question it because I'm a badass in my mind. Well, before you know it, that's what you're doing is crystal meth.
Yeah.
You're not doing cocaine.
Yeah.
You're just trusting the people around you because they would never give you anything bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you rube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how stupid are you? Very, obviously, okay?
Yeah.
Capable of making awful decisions, like the world's worst decisions ever. Going back to, be dead.
Yeah.
In a situation where You know, they're
in the worst of times of that, in the deepest of that addiction.
Yeah.
What was your longest you stayed up?
Oh, probably 6 or 7 days. I mean, six
It's
days.
sketchy after like 4, right?
Oh yeah. It gets pretty sketchy after. For me, it gets sketchy after about 2. You know, the shadow people start coming.
3.
Yeah,
I'm
3. The shadow
yeah.
people start coming out at about 3.
Dude, buggy, like way over here. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like,
I start hearing things
poor Caroline
at about day 3. Yeah. You know, I make up characters. You start making up characters about just, it's an alternate reality.
Yeah.
And nobody, and here's the thing, I start sharing it with people and accusing, and then sharing it with other people and then convincing them. Now I'll create a whole court case argument.
Yeah.
And then bring it to the real world.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the other problem, is that happens even after I go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's really bad, really, really bad. Like, no, you don't understand. This is my brother.
Right.
It's not any more close to my brother, okay?
Right.
But I'm so out of my mind. Yeah. I think I'm so paranoid. I think that this guy on this flyer in France is my brother.
Right.
Now he's showing up over there, or that's his doppelganger. That's his clone, right?
Right.
And that's somewhere connected to me now.
Yeah.
Right? And that's my
delusion.
That's my ex-girlfriend's trailer that I used to live in, but that's also this club in France that my brother's the DJ in, okay?
Wow.
Like, and I'm explaining this,
Yeah.
and like, like, people will be like, dude, you remember how out of your mind you were? You were trying to tell me that your brother was a DJ in France, and that the explanation was because you used to live in your ex-girlfriend's trailer park and they looked the same.
Now that.
Yeah, and I'm like, can we not talk about that?
Oh, yeah.
Can we just not talk about
Oh,
that? Like the decor, think about this. I made it seem like another human being was my brother.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I stumbled onto a picture. The decor in his nightclub happened to look like a trailer home I lived in for a year. Yeah,
That's good.
that's some
burnt brain cells there, dude.
Prime delusion
Hell yeah,
right
dude.
there.
I want to touch on some of these, though, because Jess Carlson joined us way back. Thank you, Jess, for always tuning in. Rob, what's going on? Hopefully you guys are having a great anniversary.
Yes.
Let me see here. Mr. Morales says, the first time that I heard BFD or seen BFD was at the Quest opening for Mudvayne. I was hooked. I didn't even know you guys were local till I met Benji working at Lowell's, he said.
Yeah, the Lowell's Paint.
And then we get into the Metallica conversation and the Dave Mustaine conversation, and Jess said Metallica ripped off more than Dave Mustaine. You're correct, Chilton, and so many 70s artists ripped off blues. Went back on that rabbit hole before. We were talking about how they kind of the synergy of it all, and you kind of wonder whether or not that they are in this haze and they come back out. They're like, hey, I just came up with this guitar riff, and it turns into something, and then it goes into something else.
Right.
And then Mr. Morales says again, what song was on that commercial for Down in the Valley?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Now you guys got picked up by UFC for a little while too.
UFC, right? That's a wild story. Yeah, I woke up one morning in my email box, and it was the guy. It was an independent. Mike Sack is his name. Great dude. Did business with him for quite some time, and he was an independent guy.
Yeah.
That handled all of the audio visual stuff for the UFC.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I love your music. He was a big Head Charge fan.
Yeah.
He's like, I love your music. He's like, I have been following you guys since. He's like, he knew all about underground metal.
Right.
And his vision was he was going to break new bands. In conjunction, he goes, just wait. He goes, just watch. We just bought airtime on Spike. He goes, the UFC, they had just bought, the Fertitas had just bought it. Okay, they were losing money still.
Yep.
He goes, but we just bought airtime on Spike. This thing is going to blow up. And that was, sure as shit, it was the Bonner Griffin fight.
Yeah.
And so me and Benji signed this deal. It was
one of the best fucking
ever
trilogies
ever.
Fucking, how many fights did they have? They had to have like four.
They had a bunch, and that first one was all bloody, and like people were calling each on live time, right? This is pre Facebook, pre whatever. texting each other.
I remember.
In live time, right? And so we got in right at that time. Me and Benji were ringside at the first Liddell Couture fight.
Yeah.
So Fountain of Youth was probably Fountain of Youth. It was probably what he's in the Down in the Valley commercial, because that was being used aggressively in the UFC. And I remember, dude, we're at the Thomas and Mack Center. This is before they were even having it at the casinos, right?
Right.
And we're like, got a beer or whatever, and the lights go off and they start playing a Fountain of Youth. And we're like, yeah, we're out at the strip club. Like, it was like we made it.
Yeah.
We made it. And that dude.
I was watching that fight. That fight when and I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I started asking, and they're going, yeah, that's them. Listen. And I could hear it. And I heard your voice, and I'm going, you got to be kidding me. This is fucking great.
Yeah. Frank Trigg we used to walk out to Lost Cause.
Yeah.
Frank Trigg. And so if you go back and watch the first or second Frank Trigg Matt Hughes fight, the original Lost Cause demo is what Frank Trigg is walking out to.
Sick.
Yeah, he's walking out to the ring and he gets his ass kicked or whatever. But I mean, Frank Trigg chose that song.
Yeah.
He liked that. So he's like, Mike Sack's like, what do you think of this tune? He's like, yeah, that song's badass.
Yeah.
Frank Trigg loved that song. And Matt Hughes.
He was a country dude, wasn't he?
Yeah, who was the dude from here, though? Sean Shirk. The Muscle Shark.
Yep.
Sean Shirk used Northern Cold.
Nice.
That song. For a hot second. And then when the UFC blew, they started writing their own song, like, I'm Josh Koscheck.
Right.
It was like,
lame.
Yeah, lame. But I mean, it got so big that we couldn't.
God, that dude should have just stuck with that idea, because, man, that would have been so cool. There's so much stuff that he could have tapped into.
Yeah.
There were so many great bands around at that time.
So that was our first taste, though, is that, like, the publishing deal that we signed, it was a shit deal. But I tried to negotiate hardball with them. We had Bob Weisberger look at the contract, right?
Remember Bob?
And I went back to the table. I'm like, listen, man, this is a shit deal. And he's like, well, what are you going to do, Greg? I go, what do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to tell you it's a shit deal. And he goes, we'll just find some other band. And I go, you will, won't you? He goes, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. He goes, you have no negotiating power here. He goes, just take the deal and be happy about it.
Yeah,
and I
bend
go,
over.
Yeah, I go, you motherfucker, Mike. I go, give him the fucking contract, right? Yeah. and then all of a sudden, I get a phone call like 2 years later. Dude, your Lost Cause is on Bachelor Party Vegas. I go, what are you talking about? So then the licensing agreement, we could license our songs elsewhere. Yeah. But I mean, he's just hoeing us out, and we don't even know, right? Who knows what he's
making? Bank off.
$10,000 a pop, $20,000 a pop. Yeah. Use this music. We get nothing off that. We got like $1,000 a piece. Me and Benji did for whatever. But it's cool. Cool. It's on a resume. You know what I mean?
That's a huge thing.
It's it's a thing on the resume, right? How about this? My view on the music business and what it is, which is solely a propaganda tool for the U.S. government and people who juiced in, right? That's part of how I see it. Is there's a glass ceiling, right? If they want your message out, they're going to get your message. They're going to get a message out, right? If you want, you're going to pay to play, no matter what.
Yeah.
You're going to pay, right?
It kind of sounds like that's the way things are.
yeah, you're going to pay to play, right? And so, but here's the thing. I got paid still. I didn't really pay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's kind of how you got to really gauge success, I think.
Yeah.
As an independent artist or somebody out here like, me or you or whatever, somebody that's not affiliated with bloodlines or somebody that's not affiliated with families. You know what I'm saying? That's just really how it goes. People can say I'm a conspiracy theorist and you label me however you want.
Sure.
But the reality is I've seen the guts of how this shit works.
Right.
It's dirty.
Right.
It's real dirty. And you look at the Sean Combs trial right now. I'll tell you exactly what you want to know.
Right.
About how things work.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we were talking about that on the podcast a couple weeks back. Just looking back at all of the rock stars that we grew up with, and looked at. You know what I mean? My uncles and all of the rock stars. You look back at their history with the groupies and the young underage shit. And I'm not by any means fucking condoning any of that shit. I've got nothing but daughters. You're lucky you got boys. I got nothing but daughters.
I worry
about that.
blessed.
But at the same time, I've never known you to be a fucking pig. I've never known you to be a guy to go. You know what I mean? You never had to go take it from somebody.
No, never.
Now,
Here's the thing. I've been a sleazebag with a lot of women,
right.
but they signed up for it.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
they knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah.
Okay,
They were into it.
I can say with the conscience, okay, that hey. If anybody ever had any problem, they bring it out in public, bring it to the table. But I've run a clean operation in a dirty game.
Right.
And here's the deal. People like to get dirty.
Yeah.
Women like to get dirty.
Yeah.
And when I was rolling hard in the paint, I like to get dirty.
Yeah.
And let's get it on. That's how it was, right?
Yeah.
They ain't nobody forcing nobody's issue here, and anybody's hand over my neck of the woods, man. Yeah. That don't mean my side of the street's clean,
right?
Okay, but nobody's forcing your hand to be a dirtbag with me. Right. Is how I always operated. Okay. Now I'm trying to lead a good Christian, clean life at this point, right? Because I know I have that in me, so I want to be a good man at this point.
Now let me ask you this, man, because I feel like I've lost aggression in my life, in my career, in not only music but just in general. Okay. I was a pretty rough dude. I kept my absolutely. So I kept my edge for a long time, but I became more of a family guy, and I tried to work on that, and I didn't have much of a family coming up, so I wanted to build one, that was right.
Yes.
I didn't want to be a bad father to all my children. I fucked up my first one. I will wholeheartedly admit that. I wasn't there. I did a lot of drugs at the time. I chased a dream. But I stepped away from a lot of the knucklehead shit that I did,
Yes.
I started to see the brighter side of things. I started to see, and I just changed who I was.
Yes.
I've tried to do that every day, right? So my question for you is, when I came out of the drugs, when I came out of the shit that I was really in, and I felt like that kept me raw all the time. Like I never covered the wounds. I never healed the wounds.
Yeah.
I left them wide open to keep me raw, to write, to have that aggressive emotion all the fucking time. Now, all these years that you partied and you did all this stuff and you've seen all of this shit, do you feel like you lost edge when it comes to now? And I'm going to back up a little bit off of that question. I'm going to say this. I feel like you throughout the years have honed your skills.
Yeah.
You've strengthened your voice. You've become a better writer, a better, a better front man. In my opinion, when I was doing it, I think I kind of didn't focus on my craft as much as I should have. I felt I was at a level, but I was never super focused as a guy who's made it. So my question is, coming off the drugs, coming out of the partying a little bit, did you lose any kind of edge when it came to writing? Was it harder? Did the flow not feel as natural? When you're in it for so long with the drugs.
It's a really good question. I think I'll always go back to it's all mental. And initially there was a fear that was going to be the case, but the reality of it was cleaning out allowed me to discover my internal spiritual balance, okay? And my true purpose and place. I've begun to discover my true purpose and place within the cosmos.
Yeah.
Okay. Vocals is a very special thing to me. Mm-hmm. And I took advantage of it for a long time just on raw ability.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And what it is, the aggression side of it, I think, was a reflection of my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And
the battle with it, right?
The battle with it, right? Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, the battle with it. What I've realized is that my natural place within the order of, frontmen, performers, musicians, is raw power. It's not aggression, but I deliver power as a being and as a creator, right? And I'm not the best singer, but I can do it with precision and power. And when I realize that, honing in on my inner light, healing myself, and allowing my connection with spirit to be channeled has really, really allowed everything to come together.
So stronger, even.
Stronger, stronger. Because there's a sense of clarity in the messaging, and it's not coming from anything at all that's being forced, okay? Whereas when the ego is involved, you're forcing something. It's a mask, okay? It's something you want to present to people.
Yeah.
You're very much trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak.
Right.
Okay? This has all been stripped away. And so coming out of the chemical fog, so to speak,
right.
When you know, every day now, it's a violent sense of self-reflection to be a better man, because I know I've been such a piece of shit.
Sure.
That's just the honest truth, man.
No, I feel you.
And
the same guy.
When you know, I'm very sensitive to my reputation in this city, and I'll just be honest about it. It hasn't been the best all the time.
Sure.
Okay. It's something that I really, really want to do an active job at. It's not, to be clear, I don't give a fuck what people think of me at the end of the day. Okay. I lose no sleep over what people think of me. However, I believe that I'm a good soul.
Yeah.
Okay. With good intentions for things.
Yeah.
And so I'm sensitive to wanting to leave a positive mark within a community that's taking care of me. Okay. And I believe in artists, right? And I believe in what I'm doing.
Right.
Right. There's a sense of purity that I feel a connection with in music and in vocals. And vocals are a very special thing to me. I don't want to take advantage of it anymore.
Right.
And with the time that I have left on this planet, I want to be able to put some bomb-ass shit out.
Right.
Right? I feel as if, thank you for noticing that I have put more time into it, and for the compliment, because I feel the same way. I feel as if right now I'm the best that I've ever been.
Sharpened.
Yeah, sharpened. And it's through the iron. The iron is sharpened through the fire. Right. And
you're very charred at points coming out of it, and as you open yourself up, especially with writing, I feel that it took me a while.
Yeah.
Once I got off the dope, and my focuses were all over the place because I loved the music, but I didn't love what I was doing at the time. And then I was about to have another kid. I just got out of jail. You know what I mean? Like things were changing in my life, and I think it was, I didn't know what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was fearful of it. I was like, holy fuck, everything is changing. Right. My friends are going to change.
Yes. It's a big thing.
I may fall out of love with music. And
yes. Exactly. And it's frightening. I don't know if you had these type of sentiments or feelings. I went through many phases where not only myself, but other people close to me blamed music, blamed it for my addictions, blamed that instead of, it ain't music's fault, it's my fault. I've made the decisions. Okay, music is what saved me when I was an awkward kid. Music is what I've gone to when I had crushes on girls. I made them mixtapes because I couldn't tell them how. You know what I'm saying? It's not music's fault. It's my addiction. It's my impulsivity. It's my weakness as a man. That's all that it is. Right? It's not music's fault. There are certain elements of music that captivate the devil, or whatever you want to call it, right? Your satanic impulses, okay, that bring you down. It's bringing you down the ladder. It's all that it is. It's bringing you down your dimensional ladder, back down to your base level desires. Okay? Now, there's certain vibes that do that. There's others that don't. It's up to us to be an intelligent being, and you either use it to your advantage or you succumb to it. Right? It's not the music's fault.
I always thought that people, when it came to, because I loved R&B. I loved all things like that. I loved old rock and roll. When I started getting into heavier stuff, like, you run into Motley Crue, you run into Shout at the Devil, you run into Metallica, you run into, and then you go deep into the heavier shit, Yeah. And I never understood why. I always looked at metal and like hard rock as kind of like the jazz of, like the darker, the dirtier, the more underground you go, the jazzier to me it sounded.
Yes.
Because the lame ear that you put on a jazz record, if you're not there's tones in there that you're obviously gonna swing with some of those things. You're gonna feel a little bit of that. Yeah. But you're not gonna understand it like a musician would.
Right. So
with music and heavy metal and things, as it got harder and as the voices changed, and throughout my time in music, it came back to where there was more singers than there were growlers at a time. You know what I'm saying? Which to me opened a lot more up for me where I wanted to go. Like Al Town is a guy that I always looked. We all came up around the same time. But I love the fact that he didn't stay in one spot. Like he told me when you came back with Outside the Murder, I was hoping it was a death metal thing, and when it wasn't, I was like, "Fuck," you know. And he said he was pissed about it. And I was like, I just love to see him bounce around, and that's what I wanted to do. I always looked at guys who could actually carry a fucking note and push it like that, you know. Where I was just raw fucking. I was a one trick pony. But here's the thing about the one trick pony is that, you know, I grabbed a hold of people.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm
so
saying?
that's the thing with the front man, right? The vocalist. Yeah. I harp on this with everybody.
Yeah.
Do what you do well, and don't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do not think and then with guitar with everything.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Like and then expand on your craft if you want. But let's not overcomplicate. You know what I'm saying?
You know, with Lee's, one thing that I found myself doing with Lee's, and I'm an old guy, so I try to pass things along to people, and a lot of times it's like unwarranted. You know what I mean?
No,
you know what I do, man, is hey, you know, I did this back. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I know.
You can hear me slowly go every time just come on over here. Let me show you something. You know, type shit. You know?
No, trust me. My chick is like, hey, not everybody needs to be taught a lesson.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
right.
Did you just call me a preacher?
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's my cue to shut up.
I would say to guitar players and bass players, right? I've always classified musicians in two categories. One that plays their instrument, right? And you know what I mean? They're fucking tearing it up. The same with a vocalist.
Yeah.
If you're into what everybody else is playing and you wrote that shit and you're into it and you feel it and you close your eyes and you throw the fuck down, it doesn't matter who's looking at you or how they're reacting, if the pit's huge, if the lights are in your face, if you're right here throwing the fuck down inside yourself, everybody else is going to feel it.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? So when I would find myself talking to these musicians and go, you're letting, and this is my other category, you're letting the instrument play you.
Right. Oh,
so
that's good.
So you're going, and you're kind of looking up every now and again, or like you'll hit a spot where you're comfortable and you're kind of like, you're not engaging.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what he's saying, right?
Totally. That's a good way of putting it. You can't let your instrument play you.
So when you go open wide and the guitar player's doing, he's fucking chugging.
Yeah.
He just goes, you know.
Yeah.
Now everybody's in a, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta, it's all about the flow.
Yeah.
You gotta ride that wave.
But you gotta pull them in.
Totally.
You gotta pull them in here.
Yep.
You know, I had a death metal guy say to me, dude, I remember when I saw you the first time and I thought you were ridiculous.
Yeah.
You were playing air guitar and just crashing around. And I'm like, he goes, I saw you again. And I'm like, this dude really believes what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, it was like that's why it was so good to get this first show out the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord, dude. Because I had nerves a little bit. It's like I've been doing one band for 25 years.
Yeah.
Got a new band. And it's like, you know that the music's good, okay? And people love the music.
Yeah.
People like it.
Yeah.
But you're still like, are people going to like it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're so used to, they like Lost Cause. They like Open Wide.
Yeah.
They like that. You know, they like these muffins. I've been making these blueberry muffins for 25 years.
Yep. They're delicious.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Each one of these have the right amount of blueberries.
The right amount of muffins, like Ace Rustin, right?
Yep.
I am Ace Rustin with the muffins. Now I got a chocolate chip muffin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not even that. It's like a donut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That I'm like, don't trust me. I know that you all love the muffins, but just this donut's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You're nervous about it. Look, it went over. People like the donut, so it's cool. Now I got that out the way. Now I can. But there was a little bit of the instrument. I mean, dude, I hadn't felt like the way as a vocalist for a minute. I'm like, I mean, it was cool and everything was great and everything, but it was like, there's a difference in being comfortable.
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking about
them old shoes.
Yeah, you're not thinking about shit.
You can dial it in a little bit.
Dude, when you're not when you're not thinking about nothing, it's bang, 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 bang. I'm Billy the Kid up there, right? When you're thinking about things, I'm Mr. Roboto.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Billy the Kid. Yeah. There ain't nothing sexy about Mr. Roboto.
Yeah.
You want to be Billy Kid.
Yeah.
Way cooler.
It lets you drop the L.
right. Ooh, yeah.
Totally. Just so people can see drop the L.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Work the hips a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That type of shit. So that's good. You know, it was just kind of getting through it a little bit.
So I know you touched on this before about the name White Crosses.
Yeah.
And keeping that kind of symbolism with taking the Maltese from.
Yep.
The
diesel,
from the diesel, and moving it over to this project. Now, at the tail end of the diesel, there was some shuffling of members and pushing on and moving back and it's always kind of been that way with Black Flood. You've always found the right pieces to make it move forward in each incarnation of it. Right.
Yep.
So at the end of it, you were running a 4-piece.
We were running. So at the end of it, we were running a 4-piece. It's kind of been, it's always been a very fluid situation with that band, and part of it is just, some people come and some people go, and there's some dysfunction that occurs, and we're all family. It's like a big dysfunctional family, kind of a little bit, right?
Right.
Is how it ran, but people also with Black Flood Diesel, they knew what they were getting into when they come on, sign on, playing with me. I run a little bit different of an operation in there, right? It's just the way that it is, and I don't really put up with too much shit. Okay, but you also know what you're getting with me. You know what you're getting with me, and it's a real good product, dude. We're gonna throw it down, man, and you're gonna play good shows, right?
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a fun time, right? But let's not screw around either, type of thing, right? So it's there's a little bit of bullshit that you got to deal with. I mean, but you know what you're getting, and you're also playing with really good musicians too, right? So it's not for the faint of heart,
right?
I guess is how to put it. But I mean, it all works out in the end. I'm friends with everybody that I've played with. I think.
Well, now you've got Al Bourne.
Yeah, Al Bourne,
who's been with you in the tail end of Black Flood, right? He kind of jumped on in the last couple of years, right?
Tail end of Black Flood. He played. Yep, he played for the last year or so. That was great. I went and buy acoustic guitar strings, and he was working at Guitar Center. I'm like, Al, we were having the hardest time holding out a drummer, right? So that ended up working out great. Chewy, Matt McCloskey, Mike McCloskey, Mike McCloskey. He has been playing with me for shit going on. At least 10 years now.
Yeah.
But on and off. I mean, even maybe before that. I mean, he's been my guy for a long time, and he's like my real life hero.
Right.
I mean, he's been sober
28 years.
Yeah, man.
Close to 28.
Yeah, and so he's just, I go to him for advice, and we talk. He's turned into my wingman.
This
really
now, dude has been so now. I've known him in passing for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I've always, every conversation, every interaction with him, being around the guys that he was with, with the 13th Step guys, you know what I'm saying? And nothing against any of those guys, but Chewy has always been the stand-up dude for years.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? And to see him play with you for so long, you know what I mean? And just know his person, and getting to know him more, because I see him every day at fucking work and we talk all the fucking time, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, he's just a no-nonsense fucking dude.
That's what it is. I mean, it's a no-nonsense dude. Few words at some point in time, a real good sense of humor, but I mean, no bullshit.
He's not gonna take it. He's
he's
not gonna allow you to lie to him.
No, and he sees right through it. Yeah. That's the thing, and because he's been around and he's been sober for so long. Okay, but at the same time, he's not gonna lie to you either. Okay, that's just that, and
that's true friendship. Right?
Yeah, exactly, and he'll do anything for you, but don't fucking bullshit him. Okay. Yeah. And whatever, that's
Plus,
exactly.
You don't want to piss him off either.
Well, no, absolutely, because he'll rip your fucking arms off, just like Chewbacca will. And so I like to look at it like this: like I'm Han Solo and he's Chewie. You know what I'm saying? And that's totally what it is. Yeah. I'm the driver and he's Chewie.
Yeah.
It's right, totally. And we make a team like that because Han Solo was way smaller than Chewie, and he was the mouth of the operation, right? Getting him in and out of stuff. That's kind of me.
Yep.
And
you don't want to piss off the Wookiees.
Right, and Chewie.
Yeah.
But he's like, he's awesome. And so, and then Tinsley's back. No, so Dennis Curran is who he started the White Cross with, right?
Yep.
And he played with Black Flood, and that was just a situation where there was just no time.
Yeah.
He's maxed out on time, right?
That dude's been like that for absolute years. Dude.
It just and it was because there's a couple three songs that we're playing that he wrote with Al that are awesome, right? We're going to record one of them. We're going to be doing a demo here in this next month for Rockfest. One of his songs is going to make it on. Now Al is just a writing machine, so he was sitting on just a pile of music and keeps writing, which is just, I mean, a godsend.
Yeah,
it's awesome music. One of Dennis's tunes is going to make it on this demo, and it was awesome music, and the direction it was going was great. There's just no time,
right?
And so the hard conversation just had to be had. It's like, dude, like this is just not like I saw where it was going.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. So a bunch of practices were getting canceled. Then he, he became a grandpa. So congratulations, Dennis, if you're listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just the stars didn't align, right? And those conversations are difficult to have. I'm back talking with Dennis now, and everything's cool and everything. But I mean, it's just difficult, because he wanted to stay. He wanted to play.
Yeah.
He wanted to stay in the band.
Yeah.
But he also understood. Look, I think these guys are probably right, and Al wanted to keep him in the band. Me and Chewy, we're just like, listen.
Yeah.
We had to come to Jesus moment. And it was like, listen. We haven't produced that much music, and this is where this arrow is pointed.
Right.
It's not going to fix itself,
right? Because
the time is a finite resource, right?
Gotcha.
And so it's just as much as we would love this to do, a change has to happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen if this is going to be a professional band.
Right.
We're playing a big stage. Okay.
Right.
We can either go the way of the dinosaur or half-ass this.
And you guys had shows lined up and things.
Yeah.
Time constraints.
Correct. We had, and we all agreed to it. And I'm like, I put my name on the line for Rockfest. We already had bought onto it, right? Already bought onto it. With diesel money.
Right.
So nobody wasn't like okay, we're making a change in somebody's personal money. It was diesel money.
Right.
Okay. So I'm like, if I'm not going to get on a stage like that and look like an amateur. I have been in this industry
way too long to do
way too long.
Yep.
Okay. I don't, that's not how I play.
Yeah.
We need to make this change now or not do this anymore.
Yeah.
That's a black and white situation. I will not there was no gray area here.
Right.
Because I smoke people if I get on stage.
Right.
That's my mentality.
Right.
Period. I will not go otherwise, right? So, had the hard conversation. Tinsley comes back in the band. So Don Tinsley's back playing guitar.
Nice.
And he and I have played together for a long period of time. Had a little bit of a,
hiccup,
brotherly hiccup, right? And that we're I love him to death, and he loves me to death, and that happens with brothers sometimes,
right?
But that bridge got mended, over the course of some time, even before the whole thing with like, oh, what are we gonna do? Right. He and I had been talking in general, kind of mending our.
That's always good, man.
Yeah, our friendship. I'm big on that, bro.
All those years, man,
bro. I'm big on that in general.
Yeah.
Just like. If anything were to happen with me and you, it would be like I'm big on. I want to now. If somebody's fucking with me, I'm gonna let them figure that out on their own. But in the end, I want to come full circle and be cool with my homies.
Now I know that you probably know this, but anytime that you ever hear anything about me or anything that I've ever said or anything that you have questions about me or anything like that, you are more than welcome to come and talk to me.
No, absolutely.
Brother. And that's the thing is that. Wires can get twisted.
Yes.
And it has between us years past.
For sure.
And we've always worked through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's another vocalist in town too that when in the early years, Vince and I had issues where it was just attitude. It was just ego. It was just to me, and I love the shit out of that guy. I talk to him as much as I can.
I'm recently back in good terms with him.
Yeah.
And he and I didn't talk to each other probably 2 decades, 15 years. Same type of thing.
Yeah.
It was because Aaron, his old guitar player, came to play with Black Flood Diesel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you want from me, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, Head Church takes all my guitars.
Right.
I go, shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And that was just,
Yeah.
God forbid I do it.
Yeah.
You know,
It happens.
Somebody can.
There's so many incestuous bands
Yeah,
around
well,
here now,
right.
you know
I'm
what I mean?
like, dude. Everybody's sitting here. You know, it's fine. It's happened to Moog. Moog's a guitar farm.
Yeah.
You know, Moog just plants guitarists, and
Well,
you know,
I know
somebody
that,
can.
I mean, even with Cameron and Chad, I mean, you know, there'd been things said. I mean, dude, there was a lot of time, and we've all seen so much.
Yes,
dude, you know
totally.
what I'm saying?
So now it's like it's just good to be cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like whatever. It's not when you're passionate about something and you care and you're talented, right? Which you are, and Vince is. Okay, you're gonna butt heads, but really we're all just trying to do the same thing.
Same thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And nobody's coming from a bad spot.
No.
Nobody's coming from a bad spot.
Yeah.
And I'm a knucklehead.
Yep. Different pages of the book. Really,
right.
my opinion.
Listen, I'm a knucklehead. Okay, I think I can speak for the community. We're all some knuckleheads. Yeah. Right?
I agree.
So, yeah.
Especially back then too. We were fucking young and getting crazy with life, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's fun. I get a kick out of it because it shows that we're still kids at heart a little bit, and we're not dead yet. You know, it's fun. I love seeing, and I'll like, you know, put little hearts on, or like, you know, thumbs up for Vince's stuff or whatever, because I'll run around and they're playing shows and like, dude, I love seeing that. I do. I've come back around to like, I love seeing that. Jake, I get a kick. He's turned into like, I fucking love that dude. I'm hang out with him. I'm like, you're always into something. You are always into something. His girlfriend, Katie or whatever. I'm like, this guy, I'm like, you date the guy? He's always into. She's like, I know. Like when I booked him at the Skyway or whatever, and their new music is good, dude. The new Felix stuff, it's good.
Well, he's got the old Gabriel,
dude. If you haven't heard, it's I'm not saying I'm not. It's pretty fun good.
That's awesome.
It's different, and it's got this
softer, heavier.
It's got like a cyberpunk edge to it, dude. It's a different type of sound. It's like all in on the image. Like they found a way to get the sound out of that image. Yeah. And going all in on it. Nice. Like it's like, hey, fuck it, I'm going all in on it.
Yeah.
And
he's been working towards that for
the first single that he's pushing is called Money.
Nice.
It's like money is the only true God. All in on like all right, we're gonna go.
Sick,
it's good. And he's got the lights. Yeah, it's good, dude.
So kind of tell people where you guys are headed. What would you classify? I mean, I from what I've heard, I feel like it's going heavier.
It's a little heavier. You know what? A good comp would be, is I think it draws a lot like. You remember that old band Nothing Face?
Yes.
Skeletons?
Yes.
That album. It's a lot like that if you were to hybridize that with maybe, I don't know, we got one tune that's like, it's one of my favorites. It's like a hybridize of like White Zombie and Lamb of God.
Yeah.
So it's got like this.
I think it's the one Chewy played for me, I believe.
Yeah, it's got like this. Maybe like a filthier Queens of the Stone Age type of vibe, right? Helmet. Like that type of grind.
Dirty drive.
Yeah, that type of grind that's in there, right?
Yeah.
But it is heavier. It's heavier. When we go at it, there's this one that we post up that's a lot of people seem like Shedding Skin.
Gotcha.
It's real straightforward. It's time to take the control back. Just kind of barking.
Yeah.
Propane.
Nice.
Type of vocals, you know, that kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
Into real that low register Matt Holt.
There you go.
Type of hook.
Gotcha.
You know, like that Nothing Face.
Yep. It's
kind of where, you know, I'm staying in that low register, but then just barreling with the heavy.
Right.
I'm really kind of getting off on like, all right, I like the idea of the fact getting older and like getting in the ring with the heavy dudes more, like being like, okay, this will kind of mess with people.
Yeah.
People don't expect me to do this. Yeah. I'm actually going to go at them harder now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like okay, I'll bring the fight to them more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think people are expecting that.
Al brings a different vibe.
Oh, Al.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got some. You know, and I just thought of this. See if you agree. He's got a little Keith Moon in him.
I would say, yeah.
Like Keith Moon, that, like
just as
animal.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
would agree. Yeah.
A little Keith Moon. Yeah.
He's nonstop. He's been like that for a long time.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
I love the 4-piece vibe of it. Like, I'll never go back, I don't think, as long as I'm playing metal, because
well, Chewy's got a sound though that's just nice and thick, dude. And it's full. It's not a doom 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 bass player. He's fucking coming at you.
He's coming at you, and you can hear everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that if you've got one guitar player and he's really good, and Tinsley's really good, he's a really good guitar player, right? He don't make mistakes. You don't make errors, really. Okay, I mean, everybody, whatever. I'm not going to say nobody, but I mean, he's good. He's really good. He's a good guitar player, right?
Yeah. Forever. Yeah,
he's. I mean, and everybody's been watching him. He's a really good guitar player. When you have people that are each very good at what they do, and I refuse to have any backtracks, any synthesizers, anything. Here's what we will bring to the table.
Have you encountered this before, dude? It seems like this is popping up in conversations all over the fucking place. And I mean, now I remember, what the fuck was the name of the band that did that around here? They did it for, God damn it.
About backtracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I refuse to.
They were like one. I will never.
I've never used. Here's the deal. I've never in Black Flood.
Yeah.
Or White Cross has never. Black Flood Diesel never used synthesizers, never used backtracks. It's always been organic.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Yeah. Okay. In the studio, I have never used autotune. It's all real.
Yeah.
Everything's real.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just common sense. Why the fuck are you playing music if you can't do it? Okay. I'm just saying, right? So in a live experience,
for that metal money, I'm sure.
Right. So in a live experience, right? What I want to do with this band is 4-piece, all organic.
Just
what it is. Come right the fuck at you, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, some nights maybe it's not going to sound. Some nights it's going to sound great, but what it's not going to sound like is hyper-produced bullshit. Right. Milli Vanilli, Britney. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as a metal band, like the band Beartooth, I seen them two times, and that's 2 times more than I should have.
Really?
Because it's the biggest. Don't.
Didn't Brandon from
Sons of Black?
Yeah, didn't he write some of their?
I don't know about Beartooth. He had something to do with Bad Wolves.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they could throw them in the same conversation as far as I'm concerned.
It's pretty much sounds the same, right? Those two bands.
Yeah, Bad Wolves like covered the Cranberries' Zombie, and it's like, I mean, good for Brandon if you're writing and producing the stuff. But if you're the guys playing that, gag me with the fucking spoon. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm just, that ain't real. Yeah. There's nothing real about that. Why are you up there singing a Cranberry song and then talking about how you support Donald Trump?
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, you're not real.
Right.
You're like a clone off of an assembly. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
that don't make no sense to me. Yeah. So, but the band Beartooth, dude, I was like, I could see it and hear. I'm like, that guy's lip syncing. You could see it right away. Okay, or singing backtrack. You know, if you watch, you're a front man. You watch how a guy works a microphone. I can tell within 30 seconds if the guy's lip syncing or not. Right. Okay, because how the sound comes out and how he's working they don't match up. Okay, because that's what I do. Your cadence.
Yeah.
It's what I've been doing since I've been 15.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I can watch some dipshit if he's not paying attention because he knows the crowd doesn't know.
Yeah.
So he's just on autopilot. Well, guess what? I'm watching everything you do.
And you're going.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Right. I already see that you don't work out, okay? You already don't take care of yourself. So I'm eyeballing you. You know what I mean? Because I have to.
Yeah.
Because I'll turn into a fat piece of shit that can't get off the couch and will eat Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Very, very quickly. So I'm going to watch what you're doing and wonder why you're on that stage and I'm here.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Because I want to do that, right? and the guy...
You see those guys making money off of that shit.
And Beartooth, and they it's the backtracks. And here's another thing. At the end of the night, now some bands do. Now some bands just do it. Like Felix uses tracks. They always have.
Yeah.
But they're an industrial type band. Okay, that's a whole other category.
Yeah.
Ministry. Obviously they use tracks. You're an industrial band.
Right.
Okay. You can do that in that world. It's a whole other world.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking metal. No. You don't do that over here. Right.
Right.
You either if you sound like shit, you sound like shit.
Right.
I had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And guess what? I got called a bitch.
Right.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
That's what happens, right? So, even the festival we played fucking last week. At the end of the night, I was talking with Al. I go, Al, you think like me. You're a musician like me. You tell me. And I'd had a few beers.
Yeah.
Right? I go, and he had a few beers. I go, you tell me. Every band except us.
Yeah.
On this motherfucking festival.
No
that we've
way.
Seen today, use some form of backtracks, yes or no? He goes, that's an accurate statement. I go, I knew it. I knew it.
That many?
Every one of them, brother. Every one of them. That's the norm now on a local level.
Jesus.
And the bands that I book.
Really?
The bands that I book are doing it, dude. Oh yeah. It happens. It happens. And if they don't have them or so, they sound like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking
triggered kits, man. Triggered kits to me, like that was the beginning of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I want to be clear here for anybody that's listening, and just out into the ether.
Yeah.
I am not trashing the use of any tool. Okay,
Yeah.
but
I will.
If you can't, right? If you can't organically produce a song. As a musician, why the fuck are you on stage selling tickets to people?
Right.
Okay? Anybody can listen to a computer.
Right. iTunes.
At home.
On the way there.
Yeah. Jerking off at home. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I can shut it off and watch the basketball game.
Right.
I don't need to look at your dumb ass out in pub. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Phoning it in.
Yeah, man. Don't, hey, this ain't the Bozo show.
Right.
Do I look like Bozo the Clown? That's what I like to say.
Right.
You ain't Wizzo,
Yeah.
the wizard. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Duty do your ass right on out of here, man. Because I ain't Bozo the Clown. And that's what I feel like.
Duty do.
Yeah, you remember that dude? Duty do. I ain't the one. I am not the one.
Duty do your ass off.
Do.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wizzo would come around with that rock, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's Wizzo." I grew up down there, Bozo showing Bozo and Cookie, and Wizzo would come out, and he's all slick looking with that.
Fucking
Don't be trying to Wizzo me with that shit. I know what you're doing. It's a black magic fucking backtracks. Okay, some bullshit is what that is.
Right.
No.
That's fucking funny.
But every band, every one of them, bro, not cool.
Insane to me, dude.
Yeah.
So I also want to talk to you about your the Bass 12.
Bass 12, yeah.
How did that all come to be, dude?
It's just kind of been something that I don't want to say it's a pet project because it's not. I mean, I'm taking it very seriously. Tempest Crane from Harsh Reality is like my 1A viceroy, I like to call her. I mean, she's like indispensable, right? Yeah. But she totally believes in it, and what it is I realized that I wanted to hustle still. I wanted to kind of have, make an in the industry, and I love the business side of it to a degree. But I wanted to make
that almost feels dirty saying that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's just, here's the thing. Sometimes you just know it. No, it does feel dirty saying it. But sometimes, you just realize I just know what I know. You know what you know.
You've been doing it for so fucking long.
And right, and then there was a part of me too that was like, I hate to say this, man, but the First Avenue people kind of sold out, dude. Okay, they sold out, and I'll say it, and because they helped me out a bunch, but they don't help nobody no more. Yeah. And I'm not saying you got to be charity case, but they don't do anything for the local community unless there's fucking something in it for them, right? And I was like, Well, if it's not me that's going to be doing it right now, who the fuck is going to be going to bat and trying to at least hustle and grind and do something for the Rebel base? Okay.
Right.
And I'm not saying other people aren't, but I just thought about it. And I'm like, I'm one of the more qualified people to at least be able to hustle.
Right.
Right?
Right.
With a resume that could do it, okay? And I'm not doing it for selfish purposes at this point. I do want to keep a community going because I'd look around and I see kind of a wasteland of, it's a patchwork deal. A lot of talent, and I believe in the talent. There's always been talent in the Twin Cities. It's an artistic wellspring, but it's just very disorganized right now. So I think I have something to contribute with that to try to help motivate people, right, a little bit. I'd like to, right? I like working with artists. And I think that by doing so, what it's done is it's opened up communication with a lot of bands, right? Some partnerships, some interesting partnerships end up occurring. You never know who you end up working with.
Yeah.
Right? For instance, like I'm building a bridge with the red carpet with Tempest in St. Cloud. Okay? Cool, super cool room, right? The Skyway thing has been an ongoing type of thing that's growing and evolving, and trying to really right now what my focus there is maybe curbing away from having local shows, predominantly local shows, and really focusing on maximizing the national shows that they have in there. Okay, if not getting our local talent
on some of those,
having local shows before or after, pre or post shows. And maximizing the draw that we know is going to be there. Right. You already know people are going to be at that show.
Yeah.
So if it's not purchasing tickets or whatever, there have been several bands that are interested in some of those shows, right? The Vader show, Nile show, right? Whatever, that I have reserved and I've had discussions, right? There's like literally money waiting to get on, and the club is trying to figure out, sometimes it's the booking agency, right? That has to approve the locals, right?
Yep.
That's kind of the thing that's been going on now. So there's moving parts. But what I want to do is create those opportunities.
Have you seen any headway in that? I mean, has it moved forward?
It's inching, right? I mean, like for instance, the Hunt the Dinosaur show, right? Courier and Wolf Mask were on that one, right?
Yep.
Dragged into Sunlight, I had Cobra Czar on that one, and Pursuit was on that, but then that show got canceled due to some goofy ass routing that was not anybody's.
For the band
Dragged into Sunlight was in Baltimore the night before, and they routed no shows between Baltimore and Minneapolis. They're from England. Why? I mean, and then they had van troubles that day. Well, and then they tried to still play it at midnight here. That didn't work out. It's the only show on their tour they canceled was here. But either way, I had Cobra Czar on that show. Fischetti, Mike Fischetti.
Yep.
So, right? So that's cool. Like I'm able to build a bridge there, right? With people. And so that's to my benefit. Yeah. Absolutely. So I kind of look at things on a 30,000-foot view, right? I make no money off of this shit. I ain't making nothing. But that's not what it's about, right? It's never been about money. So it's kind of an ever-evolving thing. I'm not doing it to be a promoter. I'm not doing it to, and I tell everybody this, it's a different type of thing. But what it is networking.
Right.
And it's...
Well, you're opening a door for people sometimes. Right. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, and this goes way back to when we started. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck did you meet those people?
Right.
How did you get it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because you're kind of gifted that shit too. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you get hired to do the clockwise thing, right? You meet these people. Those people are somewhat already connected. You're grandfathered into a lot of that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But a lot of those people that are looking for shows, they have no clue. They hear, oh, hey, Greg Moog. Same thing when Beastface called me, like, hey, we want to do this here. And I said, Moog's doing that over there. You should talk to him.
Yep.
And it ended up working out.
Totally. We ended up working out. Now I'm talking to Chris, super talented dude.
Yep.
Whatever. We might do something together or whatever. I support what he's doing either way.
Yeah.
Right.
Great music.
Move together and work together moving forward. Right. And you help with that bridge. Right. It's just keeping it alive. Yeah. I'm a big believer, absolutely, in this day and age, and I'll never go back to thinking otherwise, in the power of positive momentum, positive energy. Right. And just that alone, okay? Yeah, I've got holes in my game for sure, and it's usually money, but it's putting the positive flow.
But dude,
into it.
You're actually like openly doing that to where years before you were caught up in your own thing.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. It's not all about me.
Yeah.
Where that was a big thing, and that was a big thing of putting the diesel on the shelf for a minute.
Yeah.
Is it's got to be new. Things have got to be new and fresh, and I've got to focus on a bigger picture, type of thing, and not live in the box, so to speak. Right. Base 12 is something where I step outside of myself.
Yeah.
You know?
I do.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
You have a show coming up. Well, you said Tempest as well.
Tempest, yep.
I'll pull up the flyer here.
Hers is 7-Eleven.
That is, yes, it is, isn't it?
7-Eleven, yep.
7-Eleven, and that is Harsh Reality, Tempest's 56th birthday, Living Through Ghosts, Destroy the Planet, Worm, and Groovenberger.
Yep. Destroy the Planet is Al Bourne's
nice.
other band, yeah. Super good. 3-piece.
Nice.
Super fun.
And that is at the Skyway, correct?
That is at the Skyway, yeah. Studio B.
Let me see here. Looks like 18 plus, 10 in advance, 15 at the door. Did I say what time it started?
I think that's
7 p.m.?
7 p.m., yeah.
Yeah. That's what it says there.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Do you have any other ones?
I think
we're working on a couple.
That is, what do we got here? Let me see. There's a couple. July 30th is a sweet one at Club Underground. Silver Tongue.
Okay.
The national band Silver Tongue.
Yeah.
Inimical Drive, Leaving Hope, and the Montoya Machine.
Oh, nice.
It's like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, July 30th, at Club Underground. So a couple national bands
nice.
I have coming in there. Silver Tongue's a sweet band.
How did you hook that up? It's just people reaching out for dates?
Yeah. I got a buddy of mine that actually played drums in Black Flood a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is the booking agent for Silver Tongue, Cultist Black.
Nice.
Crossbreed, those bands.
Yeah.
And just effectively they needed a date. Got a reasonable kind of deal on it. And was like,
well, Tempest kind of has that lock in there too, right? She's still doing sound there and shit.
Yeah, so she's doing sound over there, and then Josh Cabanis is a buddy of mine, and obviously, she deals with him and reports to him. He kind of runs the show down there,
right.
And so between the three of us, we're kind of getting that organized a little bit over there.
Yeah.
For the metal side of things, we're trying to get things a little kind of like the Lee's situation, potentially.
Right.
It's
kind of been it's there anyway.
Well, here's
the vibe.
Kind of, that's kind of the vision that I am, and the way that we would I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here because it's all positive stuff. Is if the room is empty,
nobody's making any money.
Right. Then I'm very confident in the fact that we can make the room money and I can make a little bit of money and she can run sound and he can make money and everybody's happy.
Right.
And because I've never been in a situation where in a small room I lose money.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, ever.
Yeah.
So that's not me being fucking playing big dog here. That's just, I know how the city works.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there's nothing in there, man, there's many, many ways that you can make bar money.
Right. Another spot though. You're helping open another spot.
Yeah, totally.
Open it more.
Keep it going, right? And it's just whatever. Just being. I like to throw parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I guess part of the whole base 12 thing is, in recovery, this is a weird kind of paradox, because in recovery from drugs and alcohol, I'm just so grateful to be alive.
Right.
That. It's not that I want to get fucked up. It's that I'm just happy. I want people to still feel like they're alive.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
That totally makes sense.
Right? So let's throw a party. You don't got to be getting all hammered. Now, if they'll spend money at the bar, that's great. But really, more or less, just support the community.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah.
However that is.
Show up, buy merch.
Yeah.
Fucking talk to your friends.
Correct.
Network shows. Make it happen more.
Have a couple drinks or buy some food at the bar or whatever. Just do something to keep the lights on. And it doesn't have to be much, right? But you just got to keep the wheel going round.
Yep.
That's it. And it doesn't got to be extravagant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't got to be extravagant, but that's just got to keep the wheel going around because you know as well as I do, like the Lee situation, a good thing can be gone
in a second.
In a second, man. Okay, I'm very cognizant of that, and and you did nothing wrong. Okay, not that I see. You didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But before you know it, the thing's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I don't want that to happen with music in general.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, you got AI.
Well, yeah, dude.
You
I
know?
don't. That's frightening shit, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it when some musicians are like, "Oh, check out this AI tune that I wrote." I'm like, I almost get pissed, and I'm like, "Don't talk to." I almost want me to don't talk to me anymore. But I don't take that. I don't take it that far because some of them are nice people.
Yeah.
But it really.
I thought you were so fucking
cool.
cool.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You might as well ask me to suck my dick right in public, seriously.
Not my real one, my AI one.
Right, exactly. What, you try to tongue my asshole, dude, you motherfucker? Like, what the fuck? That's how it feels to me.
Hilarious. I'm like just smacking the
Right, exactly. What, you fucking you just eat my mom's pussy? Like, what the fuck? Dude, that's fucking awful. What did you just do there?
No, I just made a video of me pretending to.
Yeah, right.
AI.
Totally.
Dude, is that my mom?
I'm like, I
you.
just had like made my fingers bleed on this acoustic guitar singing about my drug and alcohol addicted friends crying on a 3-day fast.
Yeah.
True story, by the way. And you're going to shovel shit to me, this AI barfed out lyric with a picture of like Paris Hilton's tits in the background. And expect me not to want to shit down your throat.
Right.
What that tells me is you don't know me at all. Right. You don't know me from a motherfucking. I might as well be a hooker on the block.
Drop me off where you pick me.
Right. You want to look right? Should I drop my ass for you? Do you want to look at my ass too? Like, what is this?
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so
fucking crazy, man. Yeah. It's a crazy world we live in, brother.
It is. It's only getting crazier too. You know what I'm saying?
I will never use backtracks though. I promise you. You have to put a bullet in my mother. Burn me at the stake, dude. I won't do it.
Right.
No. No.
Come on, man. Just sticking it up a little bit more.
No. I wonder how much money it would take, honestly. It would, if somebody had to have a briefcase full of that shit. Wow. I could be bought off, though.
Right.
For a certain amount, I'm sure.
Well, right. I mean, it's got to be a lot, though.
It would have to be a lot of money, and I can't even believe I'm admitting this. But but really, I'm a human being.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and be like,
needs.
I would never take $10 million fucking dollars to lip sync on stage. Of course I would. Right. Yeah, of course I would.
They might do that to Ozzy this last show. You know what I'm saying?
I would in a second. I would go out in the limo right now and yeah, probably.
Do it up, dude. 10 million.
Right.
That's
I'm just not doing it right now because I'm broke as a motherfucker. That's all.
We want you to play a Blackfoot Diesel show.
Right.
We're going to do all our. We're picking the list.
Right.
$10 million, and you can't sing anymore. You just got to dance
around. Right. Wear the suit, like a monkey in a suit.
Yep.
Right.
So pretty much was kisses.
Hey, you know what, man? Fuck it. Why not? I don't know. Whatever. Let's try that path.
So if you were to talk to a young man starting in this path of becoming a front man, would you give him any what kind of shit would you tell him?
Oh man. Are we talking just front man? Are we talking like singer, just lead singer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I would say you gotta sing. You gotta sing from your balls.
Yeah.
You gotta sing from your balls. You gotta let your dick hang out, man. Yeah. And that's just you gotta
pork propeller style.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You gotta have the biggest dick in that motherfucker. And if you don't, you gotta fucking think you do.
Yeah.
They've
been telling us that for years.
That's it. You gotta.
My mom said it looked cute.
Yeah, that's it. There and if you're wearing makeup, it's to fuck bitches. That's it. Like I'm old school that way.
Yeah.
Right. You let you're the motherfucker. You the cock of the walk. And then you find your voice from that position.
Right.
Right. In the end, you have the microphone.
Yeah.
They have to listen to you.
Yeah.
Right.
So they paid to get in the door too, right?
Right. So you better have confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win them all, but you go in there and playtime's over.
Make it real.
It's the big. You're in the big game. It's the big. Every show has to be the big game.
How about networking? What would you say networking for people? Young cats.
Young cats.
Yeah.
Always networking is always make it seem like you're really interested in what the other person's doing. You know, it's never about, even though everything you're doing is all about you.
Yeah.
Make it seem like what you're doing is all about them, and you're really interested in. Wow, that's fucking amazing. That's great. And then you're gonna sponge it. And honestly, if you're young, you need to learn about
be the sponge.
Be the sponge for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're around people that are better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you gotta manipulate the situation.
Yeah.
Because nobody's
mold it.
Yeah, you gotta mold the situation because nobody's gonna give you anything if they think that you're really all in it for yourself.
Make the opportunity.
Yeah. And guess what? It's all right to have it not be about yourself too sometimes.
Right. Well, you know what? Being friendly with people and being honest and true. I think, obviously I think in the end, everybody uses everybody for something.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So you can't take offense to it. It's part of the game.
No.
Like you're going to get bumped into when you go to the hoop. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's going to happen.
That's a great analogy.
You know?
You got to be ready to take the contact and give the contact.
Yep.
But it's a grown man's game.
But also, just like back in the day, if you got on the line, you got your ass kicked.
Correct.
A lot of times you're going to stand up and shake hands, and sometimes you'll be stronger friends with that person.
Yes.
Because they stood up to you. And like karma taught you how to stand up for yourself, and then you ended up alienating some of the people because you're standing up.
Right. Well, right.
You know?
And you're going to find too that at the end of the day, man, like I'm alone in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, period. Okay. You don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll find in time maybe you end up with some close friends that you didn't know were, but and then your close homies are your close homies, right? You got your closer. You don't got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So don't go into it thinking that everybody's all. That ain't what it is. Everybody's in it for what they're doing to a degree, and the rising tides, lifts all boats.
Yeah.
That absolutely is true.
Yeah.
But you're not. This isn't. You don't go in it with feelings.
Yeah.
Check your feelings at the door. That's a big one.
Yeah.
If I would have learned that one a long time ago.
Yeah. It's not always personal.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. I mean,
business is business. It's not always personal.
Yeah, personal is don't fuck someone's girlfriend. Okay, don't hit on someone's girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's personal.
Yeah.
So don't do that type of thing.
Yeah.
But thinking that you're better than somebody else or that your music. I mean, that's all subjective. That's all like.
You kind of have to.
You kind of have to think that way, and the beauty of that is that nobody can ever prove that because music is not an objective thing.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So it's
100%.
fine. It's fine if everybody believes in themselves that way.
Yeah.
Those dogs are never getting off of the chain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That fight is never going to happen. It's all in people's heads, and it drives the whole thing.
I honestly, dude, and I'm just I'm saying this to you from the heart. I honestly feel like you're in the same spot I came to be where I'm at now. You know, like talking to you about the promotion stuff. Like, you want to keep it going because you feel like it's something fleeting in what we do for as long as we have been.
Yeah.
You're still in it. I backed out. And I miss it every single day. I just started writing recently. Within the last year and a half.
Good.
To the point where I'm making sections.
Where it feels good.
Oh, it feels good.
Yeah, good.
Really excellent.
I love that. I love hearing that.
But at the same time, man, this is what makes me feel more. I feel like I'm giving back to what I've been doing for so long. Because again, and you said it earlier in the podcast, like you've been given a lot of things in this music scene, and a lot of fortunate things have happened. You know what I mean? You've been in the right places because people have put you there, and you've also taken yourself and put yourself in that right position and moved forward every single fucking time you've done it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like now you're doing it for not just yourself, you're doing it for the whole collective.
Trying to, and it's hard. Yeah. It's difficult because there's always people who are like, if someone's doing the local music scene, it's just local, and there's always that shit going on. And what I want to say to this is, just to everybody, anybody, that doesn't help anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
Okay, like, listen, there are local musicians that probably need work. Okay,
yeah,
and guess what? I need work, but it doesn't help anything. Knock and peg people down.
Yeah.
It doesn't, okay? And I've been guilty of it in the past where I'm just throwing that out there into the fucking ether. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah, but learning that lesson,
right?
Learning that it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, man. I feel like you're coming to a crossroad now.
Yeah, well, it's a spiritual advancement, but it comes from violent self-assessment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to be that guy. And you realize what's good for life as a whole.
Yeah.
It's the ecosystem of, like, here's what it is, Chilton. Honestly, if I'm being frank, the world's fucking burning.
Yeah.
It's burning.
Yeah.
And anybody that doesn't see that is choosing to be an ostrich.
Right.
Okay? We're at a crossroads as a species. That's what I see.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's way bigger than our local music community.
Yeah.
I, as a being, there's two paths. You could make your mark and choose to walk the path of dark or walk the path of light, and I'm choosing light.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay. I can do it with power, and I can do it with presence and intention that leaves a fucking mark, right? And it doesn't have to be anger.
Yeah.
But there's a clear choice people got to make. Right fucking now.
Yeah.
And I believe that in my heart.
Yeah.
I really do. Because you look around. It ain't good.
Yeah.
This is not a good time that we're in right now.
I agree with
you. Know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
And so I want to make a difference the way that I know how to. And it's not with money, but what it is affecting the energy in the air the best way I can.
Yeah.
You know? And if I'm doing a bad job, then I want the people around me to put me back in fucking check. You know?
I think, getting to that place where you can actually take that constructive criticism and it doesn't become personal.
Yeah.
Like it always, you know what I mean? When we were younger, that's how shit,
right.
You felt attacked when someone told you what was the truth. Was,
right.
You know?
The shell comes up or the art, you're getting the defensive posture. Yeah.
Well, they always say that, body language people, they always say this.
Right. That one.
You're closing yourself off to everything, I just saw one the other day where men like to talk to other men in an L shape. You ever
really?
notice that? Yeah, we'd rather talk open posture than right in front of each other.
Sure.
And it's never really direct eye contact.
Right.
It's always like, hey man, and then you're like, you trail off and then you're talking, where if you're talking to a woman and you're not making eye contact, it's the worst thing in the fucking world. Seriously, are you paying attention to me right now?
That's wild.
Are you even listening? Did you hear anything I said?
Wow.
Yeah. It's the same shit you said 3 days ago.
Right. No, totally. Wow. That's wild.
But just that, just the posture thing, I think it was pretty fun.
That's great.
But, yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming to do this, dude. It's always a blast to have you on here.
Thank you.
I hope you had fun again.
No, dude, this is great. Yeah. I had a great time, man. I mean, this is great. This has been a great experience. I love we've grown together. Our relationship has grown, and it's just great. No, I really appreciate it. I had a great time. Awesome. I had a great time, and I look forward to doing it again in the future.
Yeah, dude. Well, you got a lot of shit coming up, and you got a lot of shit going on, and I know that you guys are about to start recording this demo soon. So I'd like to get all of you fuckers in here for that White Crosses one,
Boom.
And in the next few months. I know that you guys are doing the Rockfest thing. Maybe after Rockfest at some point in the next couple months.
Yeah, we got that's perfect. Where our first show here is going to be September 6th is what it's on the calendar right now, and then me and Sean Pogolo from Dare Show, we did Valhalla Fest last year. And we're going to throw it. We're doing that. I just got the date on that. November 22nd at the Bloomington VFW this year. Okay. So we're going to throw a big 10-band banger, 2 stages, 1 room, 2 stages. So maybe sometime around then, whatever. But yeah, we'll have product, and I'll get that to you either way as soon as we have it done. Yeah.
So we can play that. We unfortunately don't have any new stuff right now, but we do have one more Black Flood song to go. What is it? Lost Cause.
Lost Cause.
How far in your catalog did you when was this one was coming up?
This one was written. This is the Can't Stop Winning. So this was written right before we were on tour with Motorgrader. It was about 2002.
Damn.
And then this was used in the UFC. This was written with Northern Cold, Human Torch, and Plus One Minus God, I believe, was the session, and Lost Cause. And it was used. I mean, this song was when we knew that things were going to be pretty good, because we wrote Open Wide.
Yeah.
People were like, "Wow, that's a cool tune."
Yeah.
And then when we wrote this one, it was like people responded to this one right away.
Right.
And so
God, I love
there was a sound
Yeah.
then, you know what I mean? And it was, this is a march. Like, this
So
is
now you're tuning it in.
Yeah. And so now we knew it was like, okay, now we've got a tune that we can open with,
Right.
and a tune we close with.
Yeah.
So that was the playbook. Well, Lost Cause, Open Wide, right? And then it was like making a sandwich.
Yeah.
Then it was like we started to shoot fish in the bucket.
Lining them up.
Yeah, so Lost Cause is a very special song.
I always think that people really miss the fact that guys like us would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you were building a set list.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's fucking come out punching. You know.
Yep.
Just kind of let off the gas a little bit,
yeah.
coast a little bit in the middle, get your breath back
Totally.
together, and then at the end you want to leave them fucking going. I want more of that shit.
And we'd work it out in rehearsal, and you'd mess with it, and then sometimes we would
tweaks.
Yeah, sometimes we would, and then we'd kick ourselves, like we'd put Lost Cause like later, like one show, and the show was a bad show.
Yeah,
and we were just like. Never again. Never again. Never again is that happening. Never again. And never again did it happen. And never again was the show like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yep.
Dude. Hell yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you very much, the people in the chat. I tried to stay focused on the conversation. I apologize for not going back and messing with you guys in the chat, but I always appreciate you guys showing up and showing love and support. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you for taking the time to come back and check us out and talk some shit. We've got a lot of podcasts coming up. I think I'm booked into September already, so I've got a lot of great podcasts coming up, a lot of good guests, a lot of new ones actually. So, and we're going to be checking in with guys like White Crosses when they get their material ready to rock. But we're going to play some Lost Cause from Black Flood Diesel. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks again for doing it, brother. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. Much love to you, my man.
Sir, you guys have a good evening. Enjoy yourselves. Make sure you help out the guys at Lowbrow Saints. Tomorrow's the last day for this last area that they have in their building is done for. So look them up. Thank you for tuning in. Check you later. Peace out.